Chapter 565. Feng Wuhan? What are you doing? Sima Yue asked in surprise when she saw Wind Without Trace grabbing her and pulling her out without his usual composure. Yue, come outside with me. Granduncle wants to see you, Feng Wuhan said anxiously. Your granduncle? He's uncle's father, Feng Wuhan explained. We sent him a message and he immediately rushed over. He said he wanted to call you. Master's father? All right, wait a moment, I'll tell them. Sima Yue broke free from his grip and returned to the house to inform everyone before leaving with Feng Wuhan. They went to a restaurant near the academy. Feng Wuhan brought her directly to a room on the second floor. Young master. The guard at the door saw Feng Wuhan and bowed to him. Master is already waiting inside. Feng Wuhan knocked on the door and entered after receiving a response. Sima Yue followed him in. There were 3 people in the room. Other than Feng Yuhang, there was a man and a woman. Although they looked relatively young, their eyes exposed their long history. You are Xing'er's disciple? Feng Lu looked at her. Yes. Sima Yue met his gaze fearlessly. How long did you stay with Xing'? The woman asked. A few months, Sima Yue answered. Can you tell me what happened when Xing'er left? The woman asked anxiously. Sima Yue saw that she looked similar to Feng Zhixing and asked, what is your relationship with my master? I am Danjing, Xing'er's mother. He is Xing'er's father, Feng Lu. Danjing introduced herself and also mentioned Feng Lu. Can you tell us about Xing'er now? Master's mother? How should he address her? According to seniority, he should call her Grandma. Grandma Dan, you don't have to worry too much. At least for now, Master's life is not in danger. Sima Yue comforted her after telling her about the Yilin continent. Can you show us the soul imprint he left behind? Danjing asked. Sima Yue forced Feng Zhixing's soul imprint out of her body, and a faint figure appeared in front of everyone. Feng Zhixing's eyes were closed. He could not sense anyone around him. It was as if he was in a deep sleep. Feng Lu frowned. Why is Xing'er's soul so weak? Could it be that he is in a very dangerous situation right now? Danjing grabbed Feng Lu's hand and said excitedly. Granduncle, the soul imprint might be weak because the body is weak, or it might have been used before. Don't worry, let's ask Yue first, Feng Yuhang comforted. There was once when I was in danger and Master's soul imprint saved me. Sima Yue said. Ever since then he has been like this. That's good, that's good. Danjing patted her chest and said. If he had been like this for a long time, it meant that his current situation was still relatively good. Child, can you help us find Xing'er? Master is missing. Naturally, I will help you find him. Sima Yue said. Also, I have his soul imprint on me. If I am close enough, I should be able to sense it. Thank you, child. Danjing said gratefully. Master is my master. Finding him is what I should do, Sima Yue said. Little uncle has been missing for so long. It will be difficult for us to find any clues, Feng Yuhang said. That might not be the case, Sima Yue said. You have a way? Feng Yuhang asked. Did you forget what I have? Sima Yue said. Master must have gone missing in the primordial lands. No matter where he is, someone must have seen him and know his whereabouts. But we don't know where little uncle went when he came back from the primordial lands. The primordial lands are so big. How are we going to find such a small clue? Feng Wuhan said worriedly. Also, if little uncle is so strong, he could disappear without a trace. If it was done by someone, then the other party's strength is not weak. If we want to find the people who saw little uncle, they will think of a way to kill them. The most important thing is that the area is too big. Even if we find him, it will take a long time. Also, we will need a lot of manpower. Danjing said. I have an idea, Sima Yue said. What idea? If you can confirm the general area, then it will be easier. Sima Yue was not in a hurry to say it. Feng Lu thought for a while and said, if he came from the Yilin continent, then he is most likely in the outer regions. The outer regions are the closest to the Yilin continent. You can't confirm which region he is in? I can't. Although the outer regions were quite big, it was not impossible. Are you planning to use his power? Feng Yuhang asked. Yes, Sima Yue said. Those people are not easy to find. Then we won't recruit them. Then what should we look for? The world is big. There are a lot of spirit beasts, and the bird clan is the most well-informed. Sima Yue said. If that's the case, then we will start with the bird clan. Ask them if they have seen Master's whereabouts. Feng Lu and Dan Jing didn't think highly of her suggestion. The bird race was too big. It wouldn't be easy to find them, but it was better than nothing. That's right. As long as we mobilize the entire bird clan, we will definitely find little uncle, Feng Wuhan said excitedly. It won't be easy to mobilize the entire bird clan. We can only go back and discuss with the clan leader to see if we can transfer more people over. Feng Lu said. Granduncle, this might be difficult for others, but for Yue, it is very easy, Feng Yuhang said with a smile. What, do you have an idea? Dan Jing looked at Sima Yue and asked. Granduncle, grandaunt, Yue is the contracted master of the King of the Rocks. As long as she orders the King of the Rocks, the entire bird clan will listen to her, Feng Wuhan explained. You are the contracted master of the King of the Rocks? Feng Lu stood up excitedly. He did not expect to meet the contracted master of the King of the Rocks. She was even his youngest son's disciple. Yes. I will draw Master's portrait and ask Little Rock to pass it down. Sima Yue said. When I have news, I will ask Wuhan to inform you. Okay. Then I will have to trouble you. Dan Jing said gratefully. I will go and prepare Master's portrait first. Sima Yue said. No need. We have a lot here. Dan Jing said as she took out a large stack of paper. It was filled with Feng Zhixing's portrait. These are all prepared to find Xing. Since we have these portraits, I will ask Little Rock to pass it down. Sima Yue called Little Rock out. Little Rock already knew what was going on. He took the stack of paper, transformed into his beast form and flew out. Chapter 566. Sima Yue chatted with them for a while before returning to the sect. She felt a little tired. She was worried about Feng Zhixing's whereabouts and was unable to calm down. She gave up on cultivating and went to see Sima Yuming. After a day of treatment, Sima Yue's condition was much more stable now. However, she was still unconscious because of her serious injuries. Bei Gongtang and the others just happened to come over to see Sima Yuming, and the group gathered together. Yue, how is Teacher Feng's situation? Fatty Chu asked anxiously. Nothing has happened yet. Sima Yue said. Little Rock has already gone to seek help from the bird clan. Hopefully we can find some clues. Right at this moment, Little Peng came in from outside. Seeing that they were all in the courtyard, he walked over and said, Yu, I've already given the order. There should be news in a few days. Sima Yue did not know how the bird clan communicated with each other, but it was fine as long as there was news. Yue, don't worry. After mobilizing the entire bird clan, there will definitely be news soon. Wei Ziqi looked at Sima Yue's tightly knitted brows and consoled her. Sima Yue sighed. I'm worried about Master's current situation. He had been missing for several years. As a large family, the Feng clan actually didn't find any news about him. Although it could be said that the direction was off, the fact that those people could do this showed that the other party's strength wasn't weak. I don't know why they captured Master, and I don't know how he is doing now. For Master Feng to be able to open a spatial passage, it means that his strength is very strong. Maybe he is only temporarily trapped right now, Ouyang Fei said. I hope so, Sima Yue said, but she was still worried. I'll head back first. Sima Yue thought of the things she had to do now. If there was news about Feng Zhixing, she would definitely go. Now she had to find a way to detoxify Tuoba Han's poison, and then find a way to cure Shiman Feng's body. She had already told Gulang about his condition a few days ago. Gulang was very interested, so he went to see him and personally examined him. After that, he included his condition in his research. She went to Wu Lingyu's courtyard. There was a barrier here that he had left behind. He said that as long as there was this barrier, the outside world would not know what was going on here, so she could enter the spirit pagoda without worry. She went to the spirit pagoda and plunged into the alchemy room. From time to time, she would ask Little Spirit to bring her some medicinal ingredients. Then she would frantically research them. Time passed day by day. She studied in the spirit pagoda day and night. She didn't know how many days had passed outside. When she had some progress, little Peng said that there was news from Feng Zhixing. Sima Yue hurriedly came out. Little Peng told her that Feng Zhixing had appeared in the northern 6th prefecture after returning from the Yilan continent. 6th prefecture. The northern 7th prefecture has a vile environment. If Master went to the northern 7th prefecture, he should have left immediately. Especially the 6th prefecture, it's even more dangerous. If he disappeared in the 6th prefecture, it would be troublesome. Sima Yue said, I'll go and tell the Feng clan this news first. She went to look for Feng Wuhen, and revealed the news to him. He immediately sent the news back. The Feng clan found out that there were some clues in the northern 6th prefecture, so Feng Lu personally led people there. Before they found any news about Feng Zhixing, Sima Yue went there was no use, so she went back to continue researching Tuobahan's antidote. Maybe it was because she was anxious, or maybe it was because she had just found the right ingredients, but her research was exceptionally smooth. 3 months later, it was time to come out of the inner sect again. Tuobahan went to look for Sima Yue directly after he came out. Sima Yue was already waiting for him in the courtyard. When she saw that he had come, she didn't say anything and directly pulled him into the room. Feng Yuhang, who had come along, was so shocked that he blinked his eyes twice to make sure that he didn't see wrongly. It was only then that he looked at Sima Yulin, who was standing guard outside, suspiciously. Why did he have a feeling that he had misunderstood? Cough cough Yu, this is, she said that a year's time had turned into 3 months. Sima Yulin said what Sima Yue had told him. I don't know how long they'll take. Let's sit in the pavilion and wait. Feng Yuhang said. They came to the pavilion, and Sima Yulin took out a tea set and brewed tea for the two of them. I didn't think that you knew how to brew tea. Feng Yuhang took a sip of the tea and found that it tasted better than the others. I learned all these from Yu. Sima Yulin said. Do you guys spend a lot of time together? Feng Yuhang was curious about Sima Yue. We've been together for many years. Sima Yulin said. We've been cultivating and living together all these years. Many of her abilities have been learned by everyone. Being together with her must have been very exciting. Feng Yuhang said. Thinking about how she had killed Ouyang Hai and his brother, the Ouyang clan did not even dare to let out a fart in the end. Those clans who followed her did not dare to say anything either, especially after they found out what had happened. Instead, they turned their hatred to Su Ling Heir's clan. This was because Su Ling did not like Bei Gong Tang from the very beginning, and kept finding fault with her. That was why she was killed. The Su clan had lost a very talented daughter, and they were hated by the other clans, who would stab them in the back from time to time. They were angry as well, but the other party was the contracted master of the King of Rocks, who would dare to look for her. They could only swallow this bitter fruit themselves. Sima Yulin thought about the days before and after he had met Sima Yue, and his mouth involuntarily curled into a smile. The days when I was with her were very exciting. Then can you tell me about it? Feng Yuhang asked tentatively. Of course. The two of them were waiting here, so they had to talk. It was fine to talk about the past. In any case, he would not say anything that he should not say. The two of them were chatting happily outside, but Li Mu's Tuobahan was not so good, because the moment he came in, Sima Yue said to him, Take off your clothes. He knew about taking off his clothes. Every time she gave him acupuncture, she would ask him to take off his clothes. But Sima Yue's words stunned him. Take it all off. Don't even leave your underwear. He was a good young man, he was not interested in these kinds of men's affairs at all. But Sima Yue was fiddling with something on the table with her back to him. Hearing that there was no movement behind her, she turned her head and said, I told you to take off your clothes, didn't you hear me? That, Yue, you didn't take it all off before. Why do you want to take it all off today? He looked at her awkwardly. Sima Yue saw his expression and knew that he had misunderstood. Thinking about what she said just now, she turned her head awkwardly and said, There's a bathtub in the room. Take off your clothes and stay inside. Cough cough, there are many medicinal ingredients in the bathtub. You won't be exposed. Chapter 567. Tuobahan finally understood what Sima Yue meant. When he entered the inner room, he saw a big wooden barrel that was covered with a thick layer of medicinal herbs. He took off his clothes and stepped in. Sima Yue walked in with a tray in her hands. There were many bottles and jars on the tray. She used her leg to hook a stool over and place the tray on it. Then, she picked up one of the bottles, opened the lid, and poured the juice inside. Dark green, bright red, ink black, all kinds of colored juices were poured in, and the originally quiet water began to boil. Tuobahan was a little surprised. Just as he was about to use his spiritual power to resist, her faint voice came from above his head. This isn't boiling because of the high temperature. It's because of the medicinal properties. It won't burn you. You can't use your spiritual energy right now, or I won't be able to proceed with the next step of the treatment. Since the other party had said so, Tuobahan allowed himself to relax. Although the temperature was a little high, it did not make him feel uncomfortable. Yue, in the past, it was just acupuncture. Why are you doing this time? He was a little puzzled. He had a thought in his heart, but he felt that it was not very likely. In the past, I suppressed it for you. This time, I'm going to eradicate it for you. Of course it's different. Open your mouth. He could not react in time and instinctively opened his mouth. Sima Yue immediately stuffed a pill into his mouth. He swallowed the pill and said in shock, Did you just say eradicate? Yes, if nothing goes wrong, it will be eradicated this time. Sima Yue said, I'm going to give you an injection to help you absorb the medicine. Don't talk. Don't get too excited. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble if the needle is crooked. Yes. Tuobahan saw the silver needle in her hand and tried his best to suppress the excitement in his heart. He calmed himself down and then nodded to her, indicating that it was okay. This time the acupuncture was very simple. She only pricked a few important acupoints and then sat down to drink tea. After a while, she came over again and looked at the color of the water. Then she picked up the small bottle on the tray and poured it into the bucket. She repeated this several times until all the small bottles on the tray were empty. Only then did she stop and give him another pill, saying, Tell me when the water has diluted. After a while, Tuobahan called her. She walked over, took out a basin and placed it beside the bucket, saying, Stretch out your hand. He did as he was told, but he didn't expect her to take out a dagger and slit his wrist, then put it on the basin. Then, she went behind him and retrieved the silver needles. As soon as the silver needle left his body, light red blood began to flow out of his wrist. The blood was abnormally red, and it was obvious that there was a problem. If you feel the blood in your chest churning, don't suppress it. Spit it out. Tuobahan nodded. Seeing that the blood on his wrist was slowly turning red, he knew that the poison in his body was being expelled from his body. As he looked at it, he really felt a little uncomfortable in his chest. He obeyed her orders and didn't suppress it. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Sima Yue waited for him to spit out blood before taking his other hand to check his pulse. Then, she put it down and took out another wooden bucket with clean water. Then, she came to his side and saw that half the bucket was filled with blood. She clicked her tongue twice, took out some medicinal powder, and sprinkled it on his wound. This is the last pill. Once you eat it, you can go to the other bucket to wash up. I'll wait for you outside. She took out a pill and stuffed it into his mouth, then turned around and left. Tuobahan felt that the burning in his body slowly calmed down. He used the spiritual energy in his body to feel it. The restrictions from before were no longer there. His body had never felt so comfortable before. The poison was completely cured. He clenched his fist happily and released it. His heart was filled with indescribable happiness. He thought that he could only get the thing in the sect to cure the poison. He didn't think that he didn't need to. Then he didn't need to take the risk. A faint smell of blood came from the water. He immediately stood up and saw that there were different colors on his body. He quickly went to the other bucket. Sima Yue went out. The sky outside was already dark. The treatment went on for an entire day. When they heard the door open, Feng Yuhang and Sima Yulin stood up. Done. Sima Yulin asked. It went well. Sima Yue didn't have an easy day either. She walked to the pavilion and sat down. She picked up the teapot on the table and poured water. Feng Yuhang, who was at the side, still couldn't react. He asked excitedly, "You're saying that Han's poison has been completely cured?" "Yes, he won't be troubled by this anymore," Sima Yue said. "You're really a god." Feng Yuhang looked at Sima Yue with admiration. He never thought that the poison that many people were helpless against would be cured by her just like that. Furthermore, she was so young. When he heard that she chose to study medicine, he felt sorry for her. Now it seemed that she had talent in this area. She would definitely like it. "You guys take your time to chat. I'm going back to rest," Sima Yue said as she left the pavilion and went to another room. After a while, Tuobahan came out as well. Seeing that his eyes were different from usual, Feng Yuhang knew that his poison was really cured. Tuobahan looked around and didn't see Sima Yue. He asked, "Where's Yu?" "She's a little tired, so she went back to rest," Sima Yulin said. "She told me to tell you that you can forget about the consultation fee. If you need to trouble young Master Tuoba in the future, please lend a helping hand." "That's for sure," Tuobahan promised. "Let's go. It's time to go back," Feng Yuhang said. "Then we'll take our leave first." Tuobahan cupped his hands towards Sima Yulin. "Please tell Yu that we'll look for her again next time." "Okay." Sima Yue didn't enter a state of cultivation. She knew that Tuobahan and the others had left. After they left, she crossed her legs and began to recover her energy. Don't think that she didn't have anything to do the whole day. Actually, she had to keep an eye on Tuobahan's condition. If anything happened, she would have to stop the treatment. That was why the pressure was huge. Tuobahan and Feng Yuhang went to the sex teleportation array. This was the only way to go to the inner sect. Furthermore, it was only in the mountains outside the inner sect. They still had a long way to go to get there. On the way back, Tuobahan told Shi Yuhang about the treatment process today. He thought about how there were so many ingredients, and how they had to be poured in at different times according to different orders. They also had to use silver needles and pills. This was really a complicated process. "I never thought that he would know such a complicated treatment method when he's only 20 years old." Feng Yuhang sighed. "Yeah, but I should be thankful that he has this ability." Tuobahan's lips curled into a smile. He was in a good mood. "That's right. You should." "Who is that?" Feng Yuhang and Tuobahan exchanged glances. The direction that the silhouette had gone in was the forbidden area of the inner sect. It was the place that Tuobahan had wanted to enter before. Chapter 568. Tuobahan and Feng Yuhang looked at each other. While the two of them were still hesitating whether to follow or not, that person had already disappeared. "Let's go and take a look," Feng Yuhang said as he chased after that person. Tuobahan's speed wasn't slow either. He followed Feng Yuhang and flew towards the forbidden grounds. But after chasing for a while, they found that he had disappeared. "Where is he?" The two of them stopped. The person in front of them had suddenly disappeared. Looking around, there were dense forests and mountain streams everywhere. It would be very easy for that person to hide. It seemed that the other party had discovered that he was being followed. If they did not leave, he would not continue to move forward. "Let's go back," Feng Yuhang said. Since they couldn't catch up to him, they could only return. 2 days after he left, a graceful shadow appeared in the forest. It was a woman. With a cold snort, she turned around and flew in the direction of the forbidden area. Just as the black figure arrived outside the forbidden area, another figure suddenly appeared from inside the forbidden area. The two of them met and quickly engaged in a battle. "I didn't expect you to be here as well," the woman said as she fought. "Aren't you the same?" The other party sneered. A straightforward person does not resort to insinuations. "Have you already obtained that item?" the woman asked. "No. If you're interested, you can go in and take a look." "You're injured. Did you get injured inside? You actually want to trick me into going in. Didn't you come here for this as well?" The other party sent the woman flying with a palm strike, then flew in the direction of the academy. When the woman turned around, her opponent had already flown far away. It seemed like he didn't want to get entangled in a fight with her. She looked inside the forbidden grounds. Thinking that even someone like him was injured, she hesitated for a moment. After much consideration, she decided to give up on this mission and turned around to fly back to the academy. After resting for a night, Sima Yue continued to study Shimenfeng's condition while waiting for the news from northern 6 prefectures. During this period, she went to find Gulang and studied Shimenfeng's situation with him. Although they still couldn't find a way to eradicate it, but after learning that she was the one who suppressed Shimenfeng's situation, Gulang valued her even more, and even had the intention to let her join his research group and study those topics together with the seniors. Unfortunately, she was worried about Feng Zhixing and could leave at any time, so she declined Gulang's invitation. Gulang asked about the situation and said that she could join. If she had something to do, she could ask for leave. Sima Yue thought about it and nodded in agreement. Therefore, when Feng Wuhan came to look for her, she was discussing something with the research team. Seeing his anxious look, her heart skipped a beat. She greeted Gulang and left. Yue, there's news about my uncle, Feng Wuhan said anxiously when he saw her come out. Where? The Red Canyon of the northern 6th prefecture. Sima Yue's body shook when she heard the Red Canyon. She shouted, "Why are we in the Red Canyon?" Even if he didn't know much about the periphery in his previous life, he knew about the Red Canyon in the northern 6th state. It was said that the barrier between the human realm and the demon realm was the weakest. It was a passage from the demon realm to the human realm. The primordial lands had always stationed people there to prevent the devil world from invading from there. We got in touch with the bird clan in the northern 6th prefecture. In the end, we found out that uncle was last seen there. Feng Wuhan said worriedly. Moreover, that was a few years ago. Granduncle said that uncle might have entered the blood tunnel. Blood tunnel? Sima Yue shouted. No, I have to go there quickly. If Master really entered the blood tunnel, then the Scarlet Channel was a passage that connected the devil world and the human world. If the devil race wanted to come out from here, the human race would intercept and kill them here. Every day, there would be killing and blood covering the whole place, so it was called the Scarlet Channel. If Feng Zhixing entered the blood tunnel, Sima Yue didn't dare to imagine what would happen. Granduncle asked me to come here to ask if you're going. If you want to go, we'll meet at the inn tomorrow at noon. Feng Wuhan said. Okay, I want to go. I'll meet you at the inn tomorrow at noon. Sima Yue took a deep breath and tried to calm herself down. She thought about what to prepare. After Feng Wuhan left, Sima Yue turned around and went back after informing Gulang. She had to prepare some pills that she might need in case of an emergency. Bei Gongtang and the others heard that Sima Yue was going to the northern 6th prefecture and wanted to go with her, but she rejected them. The Red Canyon is too dangerous. The demon clan might appear there at any time. It's not a place where ordinary people can go. Also, we might enter the blood tunnel, which will be even more dangerous. We're not strong enough, and the situation there isn't clear, so you don't have to go this time. Sima Yulin understood what she meant. If they went now, they would be in danger and drag others down. So everyone decided to wait for her in the sect. At the same time, they gave her all the things that they usually refined. In addition to her own, those one-time arrays, pills and so on filled a room in the spirit pagoda. However, Sima Yue liked the last thing that Fatty Chu gave her. Yue, this is something that you refined based on the grenade that you mentioned before. This thing will explode in half a minute after you insert your spirit energy. The big metal ball is equivalent to a low-rank divine saint. The small one is equivalent to a middle-rank divine overlord. The safe distance is at least 500 meters. Don't blow yourself in. Sima Yue looked at the round metal ball and was happy. This was a good thing for killing groups. How many of these? 50 for the big ones and 100 for the small ones. You have to use it wisely. Fatty Chu warned. You're so weak. Don't use it all at once when you go to such a dangerous place. When no one comes to save you, you can still use it to protect yourself. Do you understand? Really, you should have told me earlier that you were leaving. I would have refined more. More than 100, that's not a small number. Also, you gave me so many spirit tools. Sima Yu patted his shoulder. No, aren't you leaving in the evening? I'll go to the spirit pagoda to refine more for you. I'll be able to refine 10 to 20 in 10 days. Fatty Chu said worriedly. I'll go in and refine some one-time arrays for you as well, so you don't have to set them up again. Sima Yulin said. We can refine some more pills. Ouyang Fei and Bei Gongtang said. Sima Yue saw that they were so determined, so she brought them to Wu Lingyu's house. Then they all entered the spirit pagoda. When it was almost noon on the second day, Sima Yue brought them out of the spirit pagoda. She didn't expect to see Wu Lingyu sitting in the living room drinking tea. Senior? When did you come back? Chapter 569. Wu Lingyu put down the teacup in his hand and said, This morning. I need to leave for a while. Sima Yue said. I know. Wu Lingyu stood up and walked out. Seeing Sima Yue still standing there, he said, Aren't you going to look for them? Why are you still standing there? You're going to? Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. Of course. Why else would I come back? Wu Lingyu said matter-of-factly. Let's go. Don't keep them waiting. Bei Gongtang and the others looked at each other. After knowing that Wu Lingyu would be going with her, they were all rather happy. This way she would be safer. At least Wu Lingyu would do her best to protect her. When Sima Yue heard his words, she wondered if he had come back especially to go there with her. Wait a minute. I haven't applied for leave from the academy. She suddenly remembered this matter. It seemed that she had to look for the dean. I've already told him, Wu Lingyu said. What's the reason for your leave? He said that I want to take you out to practice, Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This was a good reason. He was her teaching assistant, and the school allowed teachers to bring students out for training. She didn't expect that he would have prepared all these for her. That meant that leaving the academy wouldn't be a problem. Let's go then. The two of them went to the inn they had visited last time. Stepping into the inn again, Sima Yue felt that the atmosphere was different. Young Master Sima, this way please. A guard appeared, wearing clothes with the Feng clan's emblem. He didn't take them upstairs, but went to the courtyard at the back. Feng Lu and a few others were standing in the yard, but Wind Without Trace and Feng Yuhang were nowhere to be seen. It seemed that they had not been allowed to go there. A formation was set up in the middle of the courtyard. The array formation wasn't big, but it was very dense. It was probably a condensed version of the teleportation array. When Sima Yue saw the array, she knew that it was not something that could be set up by ordinary people. At least she could not do it now. But thinking about how the Feng clan was an array clan, their attainments in array formations must be extraordinary. Seeing her and Wu Lingyu coming over, Feng Lu was a little surprised. He had never heard of anyone coming with her. And this person was the holy son of the Sage Pavilion. This is my senior brother, and also my current teaching assistant. He will go there with me. Sima Yue said. Well, since everyone is here, let's go. Although Feng Lu was curious about the relationship between Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu, he was worried about his son. He was in a hurry to go over, so he didn't ask anything. The group of people stood up and filled the array. One of them activated the array, and they quickly disappeared from the courtyard. The guard who brought Sima Yue in went to remove the array after they left. Although it was a one-time use array, it could not be seen by others. The spatial passage opened by the array was very stable. Sima Yue did not have much of a reaction, but she was still a little dizzy because of the distance. She did not know when Wu Lingyu's hand was on her head, covering her ears and pressing his thumb on her temple. A warm current flowed in, making her feel much better. After some time, they appeared in the northern 6th prefecture. Sima Yue felt a little dizzy, but it was the best time she had ever taken a long-distance teleportation array. One of them took out a compass and a map and looked at it for a while, saying, The Red Canyon is 10,000 miles in front of us. Then let's hurry over. Feng Lu urged. The Feng clan had flying beasts, so the 10,000-mile journey was quickly reached. Sima Yue sat on the back of the flying beast and saw the Red Canyon from afar. It was like a burning mountain. There were many tents on the other side of the canyon. They flew over and landed. Shanjing walked over and saw Feng Lu saying, If you didn't come, I would have gone down. Is there any other news? Feng Lu asked. Shanjing's expression was not good. He looked back at the canyon and said, they received news that Xing Er went down before, but no one saw him come up. So the possibility of him being down there is very high. But we can't rule out the possibility that he came up. Young master. A white-clothed man walked over and bowed to Sima Yue. You are? I am Wang Baiqing of the 3 Yuan Egret. The white-clothed man said, we were ordered by our king to wait here for our master and king. Egret King and the others helped us a lot. They found out a lot of information. Shanjing said. Thank you for your hard work. Sima Yue said to Baiqing. It is our honor to work for our king, Baiqing said with a smile. Yue, can you sense Xing Er? Shanjing asked. Let me try. Sima Yue closed her eyes and tried to control the faint shadow in her mind, but there was no reaction. She opened her eyes and shook her head, saying, there is no reaction. Could it be that Xing Er is not here? Shanjing grabbed Feng Lu's hand and said. At this time, a man walked over and supported Shanjing's body, saying, Mother, I heard that the blood tunnel is an independent space. Maybe little brother is inside, so we can't sense him. This is Xing Er's brother Zhiyang. Shanjing introduced. She and Feng Lu had been to the blood tunnel before, so they naturally knew that it was an independent space. Then let's go down quickly. If Feng Zhixing was really there, it was normal that they couldn't sense him. Whether he was there or not, they would know once they went down. Young master, we will go down with you. Baiqing said. A few elders know that you and King are going down, so they are already on their way. They will arrive in half a day. There are so many of us, can't we protect her? Why are we still waiting for your elders? Feng Jiang said unhappily. His tone was obviously blaming them. We know that the Feng clan is very strong, but we also have to consider the safety of our king. Don't you know what kind of place this blood tunnel is? If you can't wait, you can go down first. Baiqing replied. When Sima Yue saw Feng Jiang scolding Baiqing, she felt a bit uncomfortable. This person gave her the feeling that he was too self-centered. Baiqing was the king of a clan, but he actually scolded him in front of everyone. And Baiqing was thinking about her own safety. Although she was also very worried about Feng Zhixing's safety, she was also very unhappy with Feng Jiang's attitude, saying, Baiqing is right. If you can't wait, you can go down first. I will wait for the Bailu elders to come and find you. I think as master's brother, you should have a telepathic connection with him. You should be able to find him quickly. You. Feng Jiang pointed at her angrily after hearing her words. Are you still little brother's disciple? You don't care about his life or death. Chapter 570. Once Feng Zhiyang's words came out, the atmosphere became stiff. Feng Lu was the first to react. He slapped Feng Zhiyang's head and scolded. What nonsense are you talking about? Dan Jing also hurriedly said to Sima Yu, Yang and Xing have been close since they were young. He is also worried about Xing Er's safety, that's why he said this in a moment of anger. I hope you don't mind. Feng Zhiyang only remembered Sima Yu's identity after being hit by his father. Although she was Feng Zhixing's disciple, she was also the contract master of the King of the Rocks. Her identity was not something he could offend. But being scolded by his father in front of so many people, he felt embarrassed and could only stay silent. Sima Yue was originally very angry, but Feng Lu and Dan Jing both apologized to her. They were usually kind to her, and they were also Master's parents, so she suppressed her anger. Whether I'm worried about Master or not, you can tell from the fact that I asked the entire bird clan to search for information. Although you're Master's brother, it's not up to you to scold me. She said with a cold face. This time, I'll let you off for the sake of your parents. Next time, I won't be so nice. Young master, let's wait for the elders. Baiqing saw that Sima Yue was quite imposing when she was angry, so he was quite satisfied with her as his contract master. For your safety, let's wait a bit longer, Feng Lu said. Seeing Sima Yue nod, he turned around and ordered the guards. Tell everyone to get ready. We'll go down at any time. Yes, Master Lu. Yue, let's go to the camp to rest. Dan Jing invited Sima Yue. Okay. Sima Yue and Dan Jing went to one of the tents. Bai Qing automatically became her guard. Just as Bai Qing said, half a day later, the elders of the Egret clan all came. Sima Yue called out Little Peng, and they all bowed to him. Young master, this bloody tunnel is too dangerous. It's too dangerous for you and the king to go down. It's better for you to wait for someone to go down. An elder said rudely in front of the Feng family. The Feng family was a bit embarrassed. The elders of the Egret clan knew what happened before, and were dissatisfied with the Feng family. Thank you elders for your concern, but I must go down this bloody tunnel. Sima Yue said with a smile. Why? The elders didn't understand. She wasn't strong, and to put it bluntly, she would only be a burden if she went down. It's better to wait up there. Master left a soul imprint in my body to protect me. This is the only way to sense his presence. Sima Yue said. Only if I go down can I find Master as soon as possible. But, don't worry, I have ways to protect myself. I won't drag you down. Sima Yue promised. Yue to Yue was Yue to Yue? Grandpa Feng, let's go down. Sima Yue said to Feng Lu. Okay, I'll go arrange it. We'll go down immediately. Feng Lu went out, and came back to tell her that they could go. Sima Yue was about to go out when Wu Lingyu grabbed her hand. For the full chapter, please search for Pinwen Ba, /18, 18815, 11609051, 0. Chapter 571. Sima Yue and the rest flew for almost a day before they passed through the thick white fog, and arrived at a piece of land. This piece of land is the only piece of land in the Bloody Passage. After this, we'll be in the demon realm. Wu Lingyu explained to her. Sima Yue looked at the boundless land. It was such a huge land, but there was no greenery at all. Will Master be here? She had a worried look on her face. There were dilapidated walls left behind by the flames of war everywhere. Some places were still burning, as if there had just been a battle. Yue, can you sense Xing Er's aura from here? Dan Jing asked. Sima Yue closed her eyes to feel for a while, and her expression changed. What's wrong? Did something happen to Xing? Dan Jing asked anxiously. Master's aura is a little strange. It's sometimes strong and sometimes weak. Sima Yue said. Master is definitely here, and I might be in danger. Then what should we do? The Scarlet Continent is so big, where are we going to find Xing? Dan Jing shouted. We have to find Master immediately, Sima Yue said worriedly. With Master's current condition, I'm afraid he won't be able to hold on for long. The Bloody Continent is the only continent in the Bloody Tunnel. Although it is not as big as the real continent, it is not easy to find someone in a short time. Flowing Wind said. Then what are we waiting for? Let's split up and find our little brother. Feng Zhiyang urged everyone. No. The elder from the Feng family who came with him stopped him. Now that we're here, we cannot be separated. Why? It's too dangerous if we split up. Even if it's dangerous, we still have to try. Don't tell me that just because we know it's dangerous, we won't save our little brother? Feng Zhiyang didn't understand why everyone was different from before after coming here. Young, or you haven't been to the blood tunnel before, so you don't know what kind of place it is. Even for us, if we leave alone, we might not be able to return safely, Dan Jing explained. Here, we have to be careful at every step. Otherwise, not only will we not be able to save young Master Xing, we might even lose everyone's lives. The elder said in a heavy tone. Feng Jiang was very unwilling. He was anxious to find Feng Zhixing, but he did not dare to act on his own. Even his parents had said that this place was very dangerous, so how could he dare to move around by himself? But father, little brother is in danger now. If we don't go find him, Feng Lu sighed and said. At first I was hoping that Xing wasn't here at all. That way, we would be able to go back up quickly. But I didn't expect him to really be here. Now it seems that we can only look for him together. Then let's hurry over. Another elder said. Sima Yue was originally unhappy with Feng Zhiyang, but seeing that he was so anxious about her master, Although his personality was not likable, she did not hate him as much. The most important thing now was to find his master. Seeing that the Feng family had no other way, he stepped forward and said, I have a way, but let's give it a try. However, I can't guarantee that it will be 100% effective. What is it? Sima Yue took out a bee. Seeing the bee, the Feng family members did not take it seriously. Could it be that she wanted to rely on a bee to find someone? Even the elders of the egret family were doubtful of her method. They thought that it was her first time here, so she did not understand the situation here. Young master, do you want to rely on smell to find your master? In this bloody tunnel, the air is filled with the smell of blood. It is very difficult to find a person. Sima Yue released the bee. It flapped its wings and flew forward. Soon it disappeared from everyone's sight. The Feng family guards saw that the bee was so fast, and guess what kind of bee it was? With such speed, it was not impossible for this kind of bee to escape from the devil clan. And just as they were surprised by the speed of the bees flew away from them. Tens of thousands of bees flew in different directions. The scene stunned everyone present. Yue, this is... Feng Lu wanted to ask if these were her bees, but in the blink of an eye, he saw a red palm-sized bee on her shoulder. This is the Scarlet Queen bee? The Feng family members were also attracted by this cry. Everyone followed his gaze and saw the Scarlet Queen bee. Although the bees are not strong, they are quite good at finding people. No matter where my master is, as long as the bees find them, the Scarlet Queen bee will know. When the time comes, we can rush in that direction. This is really the Scarlet Queen bee. The Feng family elder ran over excitedly. Seeing the Scarlet Queen bee, he could not control himself. Young Master Sima, where did you find this Scarlet Queen bee? Yilan continent. Sima Yue said, although I found it there, it might be the only one in the world. This is definitely the only one. Not to mention the Scarlet Queen bee. Even ordinary scarlet bees are rare in the primordial lands. The elder said with certainty. He originally thought that he would not be able to see the famous scarlet bees in history. He did not expect to see so many today, and even the Scarlet Queen bee. He felt that he had no regrets in this life. The Scarlet Queen bee proudly turned its head to the side, not even looking at these people. It would not care about people who dared to treat its Yu badly. How long will it take for the news to arrive? Feng Jiang asked. Sima Yue shook her head. She did not dare to make any promises. Fortunately, although Feng Jiang was anxious this time, he did not shout at her. He just stood there with his hands clenched. Time passed by minute. Sima Yue's heart was burning with anxiety. She did not receive any news from Feng Jixing, but she knew that many of the scarlet bees that were sent out had died. After half a day, the Scarlet Queen bee on her shoulder moved and told her the news that it had just received. We found my master, but they are surrounded by a group of demons. We must go and save him immediately. Sima Yue said as she quickly jumped onto Chongming's back. She took the lead and flew towards Feng Jixing's direction. The elders of the Feng family and the egret family immediately reacted and chased after her. In the depths of the bloody tunnel, Feng Jixing and Tuoba Wuchen looked at the crumbling array and the demons outside. They saw a trace of despair in each other's tired eyes. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just as the demons were about to break the array, a group of bees flew over. When the bees were about to get close to the demons, they changed from ordinary bees to scarlet bees and attacked the demons. The two people in the array looked at the bees that suddenly appeared. They were curious about where they came from, but they also thanked these bees for giving them time to breathe. Shiman Feng quickly took out some array stones and patched a few places, allowing the array that was on the verge of breaking to play a protective role again. Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn, abundant green, elegant red, powder, family red, talk, thick, sea, wide sky, heartbroken past, snow white, world, gray world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0. Mouse scroll description: 1 to 10. 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 572. The array was partially repaired. and the ripples of the defense array once again enveloped the two of them. After the new dagger, Tuoba Wuchen directly sat on the ground, paralyzed, after killing the two demons beside him. Tuoba Wuchen took out a jade bottle and poured it out. He didn't pour out a single pill. Looking at the empty bottle, he casually threw it out. Why are there bees in the scarlet channel? He swallowed his saliva and looked at the new wound on his arm. He tore off a piece of Feng Zhixing's clothes and wrapped it with his mouth and hands. Feng Zhixing looked at his clothes, which were missing quite a bit. He glared at him and said, "How many times have I told you not to tear my clothes?" Tuoba Wuchen casually tied a knot and said with a smile, "I've told you many times. Tearing your clothes is easier." Feng Zhixing looked at his shameless appearance and couldn't be bothered with him. He sat to the side and frowned as he watched the battle between the bees and the devils outside. Surprise flashed across his face when he saw the bee's corpse on the ground. Wu Chen, those bees seem to be the scarlet bees with the most combat power? Scarlet bees, aren't they already extinct? Tuoba Wuchen originally wanted to laugh at his words, but after seeing the corpse on the ground, the following words couldn't come out. F***ck, could it really be a scarlet bee? Feng Zhixing came to the side of the array. Taking advantage of the fact that the devils weren't paying attention, he hooked the corpse of a scarlet bee back. He and Tuoba Wuchen looked at it carefully. Their eyes were filled with shock and joy. Who would have thought that the scarlet bees that had disappeared from the continent would actually appear here? He did not know why they came to save him, but if other scarlet bees came, they might really be able to escape. In that case, we might not die? Tuoba Wuchen said with a smile. Maybe. Feng Zhixing's eyes flashed with hope. Maybe they could really escape. How many years had it been? He and Tuoba Wuchen had been in the depths of the bloody tunnel. If they were not trapped, they would be fighting. Their medicinal pellets had long been used up. Before their old wounds healed, new ones were added to them. They had walked on the brink of death again and again. When I get out, I'll definitely teach that person a lesson. Tuoba Wuchen said hatefully. Yes. Feng Zhixing didn't say anything, but Tuoba Wuchen, who had grown up with him, knew how much anger was suppressed under his calm appearance. Oh right. You said before, who couldn't possibly be here. Tuoba Wuchen thought of Feng Zhixing's reaction before. At that time, their situation was very dangerous, so he didn't have time to ask in detail. Now that he had time, his curiosity began to overflow. Speaking of which, you should know him as well. Feng Zhixing said. You know, before I met you, I went to the Yilan continent. I know, didn't you say so earlier? Tuoba Wuchen said. Then do you know who is there? Feng Zhixing asked. There's only one person in the world who can make you go out of your way to see her. But why is she there? Tuoba Wuchen said on his own. Suddenly, he thought of something and turned pale. The person you're talking about, could it be their child? You went to see her child? Yes. No way, you actually went to see their child. You really do treat her. Sigh. Tuoba Wuchen looked at Feng Zhixing with a look that said, You're a fool. You're talking about her child? Yes. Feng Zhixing said. I just wanted to see if her child was doing well, but I didn't expect to hear so many bad rumors about her. But later on, it was confirmed that the rumors were very different. She is a very talented child. No, it should be said that her talent far surpasses yours and mine. That powerful? Tuoba Wuchen was a bit surprised then laughed. That's true. Her parents are so talented. How bad can she be? Did you feel her aura just now? When I left the Yilan continent, I left a soul imprint on her body. Just now, I seem to feel the fluctuations of my soul. Feng Zhixing said with some doubt. I only left this on her body, and no one else. Now I feel that the soul imprint seems to be very close to me, and it should be in the blood tunnel. But you also know that she is only in her 20s. I only left for 10 years. How could she come up from the Yilan continent, and to such a dangerous place? So I said it couldn't be her. Whether it is or not, when we get out we should know. Tuoba Wuchen said. We didn't want to come here, but didn't we stay here for so many years? Feng Zhixing looked into the distance. It was no longer white fog, but a blood-red world. Just a little more, and they would enter the demon world. The scarlet bees can't hold on much longer. Tuoba Wuchen stood up. It seems that we were wrong to think that many scarlet bees would come to save us. It's already good that they can hold on for so long. Feng Zhixing stood back to back with him. Zhixing, look. Tuoba Wuchen called out. Feng Zhixing turned around and saw a group of black dots flying over from the red space. His face became even more gloomy. It seems that there are more than 10 demon generals, and the one leading is actually a demon king. It seems that we are unlucky. Today we will probably die here. Tuoba Wuchen laughed bitterly. Those demons were not all killed by the scarlet bees. Now that the scarlet bees were dead, those demons began to attack their defensive array, adding on those demon generals and demon kings who were quickly approaching. Their current situation could be said to be a wolf in front and a tiger behind. They were already very tired, and their spiritual energy had already dried up. It was impossible to recover in such a short time. Also, the two of them had many injuries on their bodies, and did not have much battle strength left. Even if we die, we have to drag a few of them down with us. Okay. They watched as the demon kings came closer, as if they could already see the scene of the array they were desperately holding on to being destroyed by the other party. The people of the devil clan approached, and when they saw the two people inside the array, they muttered a few words. One of them was about to attack the array, but he suddenly stopped and looked behind Feng Zhixing and the other person. Feng Zhixing and Tuoba Wuchen also heard the movement behind them. They turned around in surprise, wanting to see who would come here to die at this time. Seeing the people rushing over on the flying beast, Feng Zhixing felt his eyes moisten. Men, quickly go and save the young master. Feng Lu ordered the people beside him before he even got close. The Feng family's guards flew over from the flying beast's back and attacked the demons. Clan elders, you guys go too. Sima Yue said as if she was ordering and requesting. Yes, young master. Those old bones stood up and moved their bones unhurriedly. With a whoosh, they attacked those demon generals and demon kings. Their strength was much stronger than the Feng family's guards. Sima Yue sat on the Chongming's back and looked at the battlefield from afar. When she saw Feng Zhixing looking at her from the array, she smiled and waved at him. This book came from Chapter 573. Tuoba Wuchen recovered from the huge surprise of the reversal of the scene. He turned his head and saw that Feng Zhixing was actually smiling, staring at the people outside the battlefield with his eyes wide open. He knew Feng Zhixing the best. Although he always had a smile on his face, he rarely smiled from the bottom of his heart. But now, he was actually smiling so happily. This kind of situation was really rare. She is his child? Tuoba Wuchen asked. Yes. She's only in her 20s and came to this continent. I don't know how she got here. Tuoba Wuchen said curiously. The person beside her looks a little familiar. The holy son of the Sage Pavilion, of course he looks familiar. Feng Zhixing said. Why are the two of them together? Could it be that the people from the Sage Pavilion went to the Yilin continent, discovered her innate talent, and then recruited her into the Sage Pavilion? Tuoba Wuchen guessed. The Feng clan would not go to the Yilin continent, so the most likely place would be the Sage Pavilion. Because they had many pavilions in the lower continents, the probability of them discovering Sima Yue was much higher. Moreover, she was so close to Wu Lingyu that they seemed to be very familiar with each other. The holy son of the temple was not someone anyone could befriend. With this thought, Feng Zhixing began to worry that his disciple had been abducted by the Sage Pavilion. One had to know that the Feng clan and the Sage Pavilion had many old grudges. The devil race's people let out a series of cries, fighting and retreating at the same time. Sima Yue understood what they were saying. They were saying that they had encountered a strong enemy, and were asking everyone to retreat. However, when the members of the Feng family saw that Feng Zhixing was surrounded by them, how could they let them leave now? They all attacked them fiercely. In the end, other than the Demon King and the two demon generals who escaped back to the blood-red world, the other demons were all killed by the Feng family and the elders of the Egret clan. Sima Yue saw that the battle was over, and asked Chongming to fly over. She stood outside the corpses and watched Feng Zhixing and Feng Lu talk. Xinger, how are you? Dan Jing looked at Feng Zhixing, who had lost a lot of weight. He couldn't imagine what he would look like if he stayed here for a year. Wuchen, why are you here with Xing? Feng Lu saw Tuoba Wuchen and took out some pills for them to eat. It's a long story. We'll tell uncle and auntie later, Tuoba Wuchen said. Yes. Heal your wounds first, Feng Zhiyang said. Feng Zhixing took the pill and ate it. Then, he stepped over the pile of corpses and came to Sima Yue. Master, I'm here, Sima Yue said with a smile. Feng Zhixing reached out to touch Sima Yue's face and said with gratification, You've exceeded Master's expectations. Master is very happy. With that, he fell towards Sima Yue and fainted. Master? Sima Yue supported him and called out twice. Seeing that he didn't respond, she reached out to grab his hand. Wu Lingyu, who was at the side, stepped forward and supported Feng Zhixing's body, not allowing him to lean on her. Feng Lu and the others hurriedly ran over. Seeing Wu Lingyu personally supporting him, they guessed that they knew each other before. Otherwise, why would the Holy Son who never interacted with others be willing to help a person who was covered in dirt? Only he knew that he was willing to do this because he didn't want a man to lean on her. Yue, how's Xing? Sima Yue checked his pulse and said. Master's body was too exhausted. Now that he's suddenly relaxed, his body hasn't recovered yet. It's not a big deal. After eating your pills, they're slowly recovering. Just as she finished speaking, Tuoba Wuchen fainted. Luckily, Feng Zhiyang wasn't far from him and caught him. This place is too close to the devil world. Let's leave this place first, Feng Lu instructed. Thus, they supported the two fainted people and left on their flying beasts. Sima Yue looked at the dead scarlet bees. With a wave of her hand, she brought them back into the spirit pagoda. To outsiders, it looked like the scarlet queen bee had taken them back. Yue, you have so many scarlet bees. Where do they usually go? Feng Zhiyang asked curiously. The Scarlet Queen Bee has a contract with those scarlet bees. It has a huge contract space. Sima Yue said the excuse that she had thought of long ago. Anyway, they couldn't verify this with the Scarlet Queen Bee. They couldn't possibly go to that space to take a look, right? As expected, once she said that, the Feng family members didn't say anything. However, they couldn't help but look at the Scarlet Queen Bee on her shoulder. Where are we going now? She ignored their gazes and changed the topic. To the human clan's place. Danjing said. The human clan has a place here? Sima Yue said in surprise. Of course. The human clan has to send people to guard this place to prevent the devil clan from breaking through the blood tunnel and running to the continent to wreak havoc in the human world. Feng Lu said. That's why there will always be humans stationed here. If we meet a devil clan like just now, we have to kill them. If we can't kill them, we have to at least beat them back. Like today, if we didn't coincidentally meet them, they would have already entered here. Sima Yue said. Hearing her say that, Danjing and the others' faces changed. Although they could see the place where people lived from afar, Feng Lu still made them change direction. What's wrong? Sima Yue asked. The Scarlet Continent is so big. It's also divided into regions. Every region should have people patrolling. Wu Lingyu explained to her. Sima Yue understood. Since there were people patrolling every region, then the people here must have known that Feng Zhixing and the others were trapped there. However, they didn't come to save them. This meant that those people did it on purpose. They deliberately pretended that they didn't see them and didn't go to save them. They might even be happy to see them trapped there. This meant that the people stationed here had a grudge with the Feng family. Therefore, they didn't dare to look for those people. They could only go to the region next to them. The person in charge of this region, Xiong Anren and Feng Lu, were old acquaintances. When he heard that they were coming, he quickly came out to welcome them. Little Liuzi, why are you here? Xiong Anren saw Feng Lu and called out loudly. When Sima Yue heard how he called Feng Lu, she couldn't help but lower her head and laugh. Feng Lu was used to it and said, I'm here to find my son. I'll tell you the rest later. They're injured right now. I need to find a place to settle them down. Then follow me. Xiong Anren led the way in front and let the guards carry Feng Zhixing and Tuoba Wuchen to an empty house. Sima Yue also wanted to go in and see Feng Zhixing's situation. However, she suddenly felt a special aura. The devil snare bracelet that hadn't moved for a long time actually moved. Chapter 574. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at the devil snare bracelet thoughtfully. She did not notice that Wu Lingyu, who was beside her, had a strange expression on his face. Read the latest chapter, Volume 09. Winky Face, what's wrong with the two of you? Feng Zhiyang, who was following behind, saw that the two of them had stopped and urged them. Sima Yue glanced at the guard standing in front of the house and said, "Nothing much. I just felt that this big brother looked familiar, and thought that I had seen him somewhere before. However, I realized that they only looked alike. Their aura was too different." Hearing Sima Yue's words, the guard's body tensed up, but it was nothing because Sima Yue had already left. After everyone left, he let out a long sigh. Looking at Sima Yue's back, his eyes flashed red. "Huaxiao, what's wrong with you?" The guard at the side saw that he kept looking in that direction. "No, I'm just wondering who these people are." Huaxiao pretended to be curious and asked, "You don't know those people?" The guard laughed. "That's Master Lu and his wife from the Feng family." "What about the young man who followed you?" Huaxiao actually wanted to ask about Sima Yue, but he didn't know her name, so he didn't dare to ask too blatantly. "Among those people, one of them is Master Lu's son, one of them is the holy son of the Sage Pavilion, and I don't know about the last one." The guard shook his head. "That person seems to be very weak. Why would he bring him here? How can a child like her stay in this bloody tunnel? Don't you often travel with your brother? How come you don't know that person? That guy looks to be in his 20s or 30s. How many people of his age do I know?" "That's true, hehe." When Sima Yue entered the room, Feng Zhixing and Tuoba Wuchen were placed on two separate beds. She went to check on them. Their conditions were not optimistic. He took out a bottle of medicine, opened their mouths, and fed each of them a mouthful. "Yue, what did you give them to drink?" Feng Zhiyang asked. "It's a liquid that can slow down their absorption of the pills." Sima Yue said. "Why did you give them this?" "Their bodies have overdrawn too much, and now their bodies are not used to it. If they absorb carefree too quickly, it will be counterproductive," she explained. "It's just like a person who can't cultivate and is frozen in the snow. You can't soak him in hot water." Hearing her explanation, everyone understood what she meant. One thing she didn't say was that the medicinal pills she gave them were too powerful. However, Lu Feng and the others were smart people. They understood when they saw her like that. "I want to perform acupuncture on them and activate their bodies." Sima Yue glanced at the people in the room. Her gaze was very clear. She was blatantly asking everyone to leave. "Then we'll go out first." Feng Lu led the group out. Bai Qing and the others stood in the courtyard and waited for them. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu, who had not moved at all. She raised her eyebrows and asked, "Senior brother, are you not going out?" "I think you need an assistant too, right?" Wu Lingyu asked. "Assistant?" Was he planning to stay here and be her assistant? Looking at his determined gaze, she knew that he wouldn't change his mind so easily. Thus, she didn't force him to go out. She turned around and began to take off Feng Zhixing's clothes. Then, she took out her silver needles and prepared to start. Wu Lingyu also saw that she was holding the needles in her right hand and touching Shimen Feng's body with her left hand. He came over and said, "Actually, you can use acupuncture points. I'll help you." Sima Yue inserted the silver needles into Shimen Feng's body. Then, she rolled her eyes at Wu Lingyu and said, "If you can learn acupuncture, then I'm willing to let you do it. But do you know how to do it?" Her words made him speechless. After a long time he faintly said, "I can learn. But I don't have time to teach." Sima Yue ignored him and continued to perform acupuncture on Feng Zhixing. "Yes, I don't have time." Wu Lingyu sighed and said, "Shitty if we encounter any problems later on. You must follow me closely. Do you understand?" "I understand. You already told me twice before coming down." Sima Yue replied impatiently. If you continue, I'll throw you out. I won't. Wu Lingyu really didn't say anything after that. He just watched her busying herself. After half an hour, Sima Yue finished performing acupuncture. Feng Zhixing and Tuoba Wuchen both woke up one after another. Master, how do you feel now? Sima Yue came to the bedside and sat down. Much better. Feng Zhixing looked at her emotionally. He didn't think that after so many years, the master and disciple would actually meet under such circumstances. Back then, he had left behind a beautiful and elegant image. He didn't think that after just a few years, he would be saved by her. He looked around. There was only Wu Lingyu and her in the room. He was even more certain that Sima Yue had been recruited into the Sage Pavilion. Master, this is my shitty Wu Lingyu. Sima Yue saw that Feng Zhixing kept looking at Wu Lingyu. She thought that he was curious about who he was and introduced him. Who knew that after Feng Zhixing heard her introduction, his expression changed slightly. He said coldly, I know about the Sage Pavilion's holy son. Sima Yue didn't know why his expression changed. Master? Yue, how much do you know about the Sage Pavilion? So much. Sima Yue had heard a lot about the Sage Pavilion from Wu Lingyu, so if she knew, she had some understanding. Then do you know that it is a sect that looks decent on the surface, but in reality, it has done many bad things? I know. Feng Zhixing saw that Sima Yue admitted it so quickly, and was a little angry. Since you know that it is a hypocritical sect, why did you join? Join the Sage Pavilion? Sima Yue was stunned. I didn't join the Sage Pavilion? You didn't join? Then why did you call him shitty? Feng Zhixing was confused. Sima Yue then understood what he was thinking. She smiled and explained. Master, Shitty's master is the Divine Devil Valley's Devil Valley Lord. He is also my master now. He taught me alchemy. So even though I am not a member of the Sage Pavilion, I am his shitty. You really didn't join? Feng Zhixing confirmed again. Sima Yue nodded affirmatively. That's good. You must not join that sect, otherwise. Wu Lingyu was depressed. In any case, he was still the holy son of the Sage Pavilion on the surface. Did they have to be so direct in their dislike of him? Master, don't worry. I will not join the Sage Pavilion. Also, I will not join. Sima Yue said. Why? Because I brought people to destroy the Sage Pavilion's branch in the Restless Continent. Feng Zhixing and Tuoba Wuchen were stunned. The latter then laughed. Ha ha ha, not bad. You dared to destroy their branch at such a young age. You have guts. Feng Zhixing also laughed and asked. Yue, why did you go to the Restless Continent? And how did you come here? Website. HTML. Chapter 575. Sima Yue saw that Feng Zhixing was very concerned about her life in the past few years. She was afraid that she would come too early, so she roughly told him about her life in the past few years. In the primordial lands, reaching the divine level in his 20s was not considered an outstanding talent. After all, many people were born with spiritual energy in their bodies. Moreover, the primordial lands were rich in spiritual energy. There were many people who reached the divine level in their 20s. However, it would be a different story if the environment was included. It was already not easy to cultivate to the divine level in the lower continents, especially at such a young age. Therefore, even Tuoba Wuchen, who was listening at the side, was stunned. Especially when he found out that she actually knew array formations, alchemy, and medical skills. He felt that the person in front of him was simply a monster. Sima Yue stayed in the house and talked to them for half a day before leaving. When she went out, she looked at Wuxia again. It wasn't just her. Wu Lingyu, who had come out with her, also looked at him. Their gazes were different. Wuxia looked at them nervously, wondering how he should react if his identity was exposed. Unexpectedly, the two of them left. That night, Wu Lingyu left her room. Feng Zhixing and the others recovered quickly. Sima Yue originally thought that they would return to the primordial lands after they recovered, but she didn't expect that they would stay. Yue, although this bloody tunnel is dangerous, there are formations set up here, so it's relatively safe. As long as you don't go out, you won't be in any danger for a while. Danjing explained. The demon race's movements have been too big these past few days. It's a bit difficult to deal with them safely. As humans, we naturally have to stay and help out when we encounter such a situation. The Scarlet Passage was divided into many regions, and each region had a specific person in charge. The people in charge would take turns, and each clan would be in charge for 5 to 6 years. Every region was given a serial number and a token that represented one's identity. When the time was up, the person stationed there could designate the next person to be stationed there and deliver the red token to that person. If the families that were named did not accept the red token, they would become the enemy of the entire continent. He would be hunted down by all the forces. Therefore, even if those clans were unwilling, they had to accept it. If you're not strong enough, you can find someone to help you, as long as you're willing to pay a huge price. Or some wealthy clans who couldn't bear to part with their own clansmen could spend money to hire those who were willing to come and stand guard for them for a period of time. There was a saying in the primordial lands that if you had a grudge against someone, you should send the red token to their family. This was definitely the best way to take revenge. Moreover, it was an open scam. Xiong Anren's group was almost up. Originally, they would have been able to go up after a few more months, but they didn't expect that at this time. The demon race seemed to have made some moves. They kept sending people to attack the human race, especially in their area. From time to time, some demon race would break through the barrier and come over. Because of the frequent invasions of the demon clan, Xiong Anren and the others could no longer hold on. They sent people to the back areas for help. Now that the Feng clan had come, they naturally had to stay and help. Furthermore, the Feng clan had been stationed here before. It just so happened that Shan Jing and Feng Lu were leading the team. They were also very familiar with the situation here. Now that they knew that their friends were in trouble, how could they stand by and watch? After Sima Yue understood this, she wasn't unhappy. She just said that if there was a need, she could let the elders of the Egret clan go. However, Xiong Anren and the others didn't have this plan. In other words, they wouldn't let the Egret clan come out unless it was a last resort. After all, they were here to protect Sima Yue. If something happened to her here, then the King of the Rocks would also be in trouble. At that time, the entire bird clan would come to settle accounts with them. Sima Yue originally thought that she would see some earth-shattering battle if she stayed, but these days, as long as Feng Lu and the others went out, they would definitely tell her not to go out. Therefore, although they would come back with big and small injuries every time, she had never seen the bloody scene. On this day, she was reading in the room as usual. Wu Lingyu came in and saw her. He wanted to say something but stopped. "What's wrong? Is something the matter?" Sima Yue put down the book and raised her head to ask. Wu Lingyu thought for a moment and said, "I just heard from the people outside that the Devil Clan sent a lot of people over this time. The battlefield in front is a bit tragic. Your master also went." "Master also went?" Sima Yue closed the book. "Did those people say how master and the others are doing?" "No," Wu Lingyu said. "But you know the guard who spoke?" "I know him. It's that Huaxiao. It's him." Sima Yue touched her chin and thought for a moment, then said, "If it's him, then the authenticity of this news is up for debate." She and Wu Lingyu both felt that that person wasn't human. It was very likely that he was from the Devil Clan. Why did he come back to deliver this news? But before they could think of anything, a guard ran in from outside and said that he wanted to see Sima Yue. Sima Yue heard the commotion and walked out curiously. When she saw the Feng clan guard covered in blood, her expression changed and she cried out in shock. "What happened?" "Master and the others are surrounded by a group of Devil Clan. They can't hold on any longer. I was at the outermost area and killed my way back. I want to ask young Master Sima to save my master, Madam and young Master. My master went too. Yes, even young Master Tuoba went." The guard said weakly, and a bottle of pills suddenly appeared in his hand. "You can rest here," Sima Yue said and called out Chongming. Just as she climbed up, Wu Lingyu stood beside her. "We're going too. Young Master Sima, please bring us along." A few guards ran over and said to Sima Yue. Sima Yue saw that the guards were following Xiong Anren and nodded in agreement. They came up and looked at Wuxia. She wanted to go to the battlefield, so Bai Qing and the elders quickly followed. If anything happened to her, they wouldn't be able to live anymore. Chongming brought them to the front of the battlefield. With his speed, it took him more than 2 hours to arrive. Sima Yue stood on Chongming's back and looked at the black mass of creatures that were neither human nor monster. She also saw Feng Zhixing and the others fighting inside. She instantly felt the severity of the situation. "Quickly go and help Master, and the others," Sima Yue said to the elders beside her. The elders of the Egret clan were all very strong. They were much stronger than Feng Lu and the others. Once they went over, the pressure on Feng Lu and the others decreased. Sima Yue took out the small metal ball that Fatty Chu gave her. Just as she was about to find a chance to throw it at the Devil clan, she suddenly felt her arm tighten. Then a hand appeared on her waist and quickly flew to the side. She turned her head and saw Huaxiao's exceptionally good-looking face. Chapter 576. Huaxiao originally thought that he would see a panicked face, but he did not expect to see Sima Yue's calm gaze. "You're not afraid?" Sima Yue smiled faintly. "Rather than being afraid, I'm more curious. Where are you planning to take me?" "You'll know when you get there." Huaxiao didn't say anything else after he finished speaking. He grabbed Qin Wentian and flew away. His strength wasn't weak at all. At the very least, Sima Yue was no match for him. She could not move at all. At this time, they were flying quickly across the battlefield. Chongming chased after them, but he could not catch up. Sima Yue saw the helplessness in Chongming's eyes and kept him in the contract space. For such a long distance, only the contract space could allow him to return instantly. When Wu Lingyu, who was fighting with the Devil clan, saw that Sima Yue had been taken away, he swept the surrounding people aside with his sword and chased after them. However, he had been delayed by the Devil race just now, and Huaxiao's speed was also very fast, so he couldn't catch up for a while. Feng Zhixing also wanted to chase after them, but there were too many people from the Devil clan. Without Wu Lingyu, the pressure on them increased by a notch, and they couldn't get away. Only Bai Qing and the 2 clan elders chased after them. Sima Yue saw another group of demons below. If they went up again, Feng Zhixing and the others would have to fight hard again. She thought of the thing in her hand. She couldn't move her body, but her hand was still hers. She quickly injected spiritual power into it and loosened her fingers. The metal ball fell. The pitiful demon race below felt that something was falling from above, so they all looked up. When they saw a metal ball falling, they didn't care much about it, but they didn't expect that the thing would explode the moment it landed, and a group of demon race was blown to pieces. Huaxiao was shaken by the shockwave and his body staggered in the air. He almost fell down with Sima Yue. It was a good thing that he quickly adjusted himself. The 2 of them fell for a distance but didn't fall to their deaths. "You do have something good." Huaxiao saw the commotion she made and curled his lips as he said hatefully. "What's wrong? Do you feel bad for hurting your people?" Sima Yue asked. "You know?" Huaxiao was a little surprised. "Of course. Then why are you still willing to go with me?" Huaxiao was a little confused. Although he was ordered to take her back, he could see that if she wanted to resist, she could buy a little bit of time. "What do you mean I'm willing to go with you?" Sima Yue said. "First of all, I was really worried about my master at that time, so I didn't know whether you went down or not. Secondly, you're so strong that even if I resist, it's useless. Thirdly, I'm also curious as to why a demon like you would mingle with the human race and kidnap me." She spoke very calmly and did not feel like she was being held hostage. In any case, other than Xiong Anren, no one else knew that Little Peng was the king of the rocks, so he definitely wouldn't want to use this identity to threaten the bird race. Then his motive for kidnapping her was a little hard to guess. Huaxiao did not speak and continued to fly forward with her. Wu Lingyu chased from behind. The distance between them seemed to be getting closer and closer, but he could not catch up. Sima Yue looked at the blood-red world that was getting closer and closer, and asked uncertainly, "You want to bring me to the demon world?" Huaxiao still did not speak and brought her to the demon world. He took out a blue gem and placed it on top of it. A hole as tall as a person appeared in the thick barrier. Huaxiao carried Sima Yue under his arm and quickly flew in with her. Wu Lingyu and 4 or 5 elders of the Egret clan rushed over and entered the hole before it closed. Sima Yue was upside down, so she saw the few people coming in. She saw that the elders were getting closer and closer, but Huaxiao did not seem to see them. She steeled her heart and kept the elders into her spirit pagoda. Huaxiao felt a movement behind him and turned back to look, only to see Wu Lingyu chasing after him alone. The last bit of the spatial barrier seemed to be a little difficult to open. Huaxiao was delayed here for a while, so when he came out, the two of them were only 10 seconds apart. Your Highness, Holy Son of the Sage Pavilion, I never thought that you would actually chase me all the way to the demon world. Huaxiao carried Sima Yue and looked coldly at Wu Lingyu. The news from above did not say that he was going to bring Wu Lingyu back, so when facing him, he naturally did not have a good expression. You brought my junior brother to the demon world, so I naturally had to chase after you. Wu Lingyu said helplessly. Do you know that the spatial barrier behind you is easy to enter, but difficult to leave? Huaxiao smiled, but that smile was cold no matter how you looked at it. Cough cough that. Sima Yue suddenly opened her mouth and interrupted their conversation. Can you put me down first? I feel terrible with you like this. Huaxiao then remembered that the person in his arms was still being carried horizontally. They had said that they had to bring her over safely and not let her get hurt at all. When he thought of this, he quickly put her down. After Sima Yue steadied herself, she glared fiercely at Huaxiao and rubbed her stomach. So it was such a terrible thing to be carried like this. She straightened her clothes and said, Now that we're in the demon world, you should tell me why you caught me, right? You'll naturally know when we get there. Huaxiao said. But if you don't tell me, I won't know where we're going. Sima Yue kindly reminded him. Why? Because you're about to collapse. Sima Yue looked at him with a smile. Huaxiao wanted to say something, but suddenly felt dizzy and looked at her in shock. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I just poisoned you a little when you put me down. Sima Yue said faintly, as if the poisoning was a very normal thing. However, Huaxiao's eyes widened in shock. He clutched his chest and said, I'm from the demon race, how could your poison work on me? This means that I have a poison that works on the demon race. Before Huaxiao fainted, he saw Sima Yue's smile and guessed that she was from the demon race. Otherwise, how could she have a poison that worked on the demon race? Seeing that Huaxiao had fainted, Sima Yue kicked him a few times and said hatefully, Do you think that this young master is so easy to kidnap? Who told you to kidnap me and imprison me? Wu Lingyu, who was standing at the side, felt that it was a little awkward. He seemed to have imprisoned her before. He wondered if she would drug him unconscious one day to deal with him. He automatically filled in the gaps in his mind, and suddenly felt that this possibility was very high. Before he could regain his senses, Sima Yue had already turned around and stared at him saying, Senior, you did this on purpose, didn't you? What on purpose? Wu Lingyu looked at the beautiful land. Was this the demon world? It was really different from the primordial lands. Sima Yue kicked him and shouted, You brought me to the demon world on purpose, didn't you? Chapter 577. Seeing her bright eyes, the words were stuck in his throat and he couldn't get them out. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu's tacit agreement. She snorted and said faintly, Senior brother, you can come to the devil realm whenever you want. Why did you set me up? Wu Lingyu had never seen her speak to her like this. In the past, whether it was laughing or scolding, or being truly angry, or even hitting, scolding, and biting her when she saw her on 10,000 Beast Mountain, it was still better than this indifferent and emotionless attitude. She was angry. He sighed in his heart and said with some grievance, This isn't what I wanted. It's not what you think. Wu Lingyu hurriedly defended himself. Otherwise, if this little girl got angry, he wouldn't have a good ending. It's Emosha. Emosha. Sima Yue said in shock. Didn't this guy pretend to be dead? Why did you plan to bring me here? And these days he hasn't come out at all. Play dead. He doesn't need to come out for me to know what he wants. Wu Lingyu explained. Oh, does that mean the two of you are telepathic? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Oh, what kind of description was that? Wu Lingyu knocked on her forehead and said unhappily, It's only because we share the same soul that I know what he's thinking. If you don't have telepathy, then you must be in cahoots with each other. Sima Yue was still feeling uncomfortable. She covered her head and glared at him. When did you start colluding? Wu Lingyu's mouth twitched. Colluding with each other? Collusion? Why were they all unpleasant words? I discovered that this person was a demon when I first met him. As for when I wanted to bring you to the demon realm, it was after I saw you being kidnapped by Huaxiao. Really? Of course it's true. Why don't you call Emo Sha out and ask him? Wu Lingyu hurriedly declared his innocence. Sima Yue looked straight at him. When she saw that he was not lying, her anger subsided a little. However, she would not let him off so easily. Tell me, what have you been doing all this time? She snorted. What did she mean by what he did? Wu Lingyu wailed in his heart. He had always listened to Emo Sha's orders. He knew that she would definitely be angry if she found out that the two of them were doing this behind her back. She was clearly awake, but she hid in the devil snare bracelet and refused to come out. She wanted him to face her anger alone. Yue, I didn't do anything. I just listened to Emo Sha's words and left some markings in a place. I also went to look at the other party's markings. Wu Lingyu said. These were all done by Emo Sha. Otherwise, how would I know? Do you think you'll be safe by hiding in the devil snare bracelet? Since you're not coming out, I'll just say whatever I want. How long has it been since Emo Sha woke up? Sima Yue asked. He woke up when we arrived at the blood tunnel. Wu Lingyu said, be honest. Oh. Sima Yue did not say anything else. With a thought, Ling Long appeared in her hand. It was still in the shape of a hammer. She shook the hammer in her hand and said faintly, Are you coming out on your own? Or do you want me to smash this bracelet and let you come out? Wu Lingyu was depressed. This guy's attitude towards Emo Sha was clearly different from his. He could even feel that she was closer to Emo Sha. If only he knew that she could not get close to him because he had forced a kiss on her when they were still strangers. Later on, because they were fellow disciples, she could finally let go of the anger that she had been holding in for a few years. Actually, Emo Sha had done the same thing before. However, she had already known him for a few years. Moreover, all these years, no matter how difficult it was, he was always by her side. Therefore, she was biased towards him and did not take the matter of him forcing a kiss on her to heart. Did not take it to heart. If Emo Sha knew what she was thinking now, he would also be angry. Why was she so anxious about what happened that day? Anxious about the beautiful feeling of their lips touching that day. She had forgotten all about it? Sima Yue looked at the motionless devil's snare bracelet and smiled brightly. I always felt that this neutral bracelet was not very nice. Today I'll smash it. As she spoke, she took the bracelet down and went to a big rock at the side. She swung Ling Long and smashed it. Once, twice, Wu Lingyu saw that she was really smashing it happily. The corner of his mouth twitched subconsciously as she swung the hammer. After smashing it a few times, the bracelet did not even have a trace of damage. Ling Long, you're too useless. Even if it's a normal hammer, it should be able to smash this thing. Sima Yue looked at the bracelet over and over again and pouted. Ling Long immediately felt wronged. It's because you use strength is too low that I can't use my full strength. Sima Yue was speechless. But it seemed this was the cruel reality. Sai, when he was in the spirit stone, he surrendered when he saw the hammer. In the end, this thing that I refined could not do anything to him. Forget it, since he's awake, we'll have to cancel the contract soon. When the time comes, we'll go our separate ways. He'll be his demon king, and we'll be our little shrimps. When Wu Lingyu heard her words, he did not know why, but he suddenly felt bad. It was as if he was about to be abandoned. If he was like that, Emo Sha was naturally like that too. So when he saw the red figure appear, he was not surprised at all. Didn't I just ask you to come to the demon world? Do you have to be so angry? Emo Sha looked at the self-reproachful person and frowned. Sima Yue reached out and threw the devil's snare bracelet at him. However, because he was still a spirit, The bracelet passed through his body and landed on Wu Lingyu's body. She even went along with the flow. Was she angry? Empress was also a little angry. I know you want to cancel the contract between us as soon as possible. I contacted you long ago, but you blocked the contract between us so I couldn't find you. Sima Yue said. If you told me directly that you were coming to the demon world, would I still refuse to come? Since you two don't believe me, then cancel the contract now. Then you can merge with each other and stay behind. I'll go to the primordial lands by myself. When Empress heard this, he was even angrier. However, what she said was not wrong. Hadn't he been looking forward to this day? Why was it that when the time came, he was still quietly looking at her from the devil's snare bracelet without any thoughts of canceling the contract? He looked at her angry little face, and the anger in his heart couldn't be suppressed. Coincidentally, at this time, a group of Devil Clan people walked over. When they saw them, before they could even attack, they were all killed by Empress's palm. Chapter 578. Wu Lingyu and Sima Yue swallowed their saliva at the sight of him killing over 100 demons in one move. Especially her, thinking that if Empress used this move on her, wouldn't she be finished? Moreover, he had shown killing intent towards him in the past. If he broke the contract with him and was reborn, wouldn't his life be in danger? Thinking of this, she took 2 steps back and looked at him with vigilance. You promised that you wouldn't take my life after the contract was broken. You have to keep your word. When Empress saw the fear and distrust in Sima Yue's eyes, the anger in his heart flared up again. However, when he saw her pale face, the anger was suppressed. He snorted coldly and floated to the side until Wu Lingyu was angry. He turned into a beam of black light and entered the space between Wu Lingyu's brows. Senior brother? She called out uncertainly when she saw Wu Lingyu's gaze change. Wu Lingyu looked straight at her. That gaze was exactly the same as Empress's. Where's my senior brother? She gathered her courage and asked. Deep asleep. Empress said. Didn't you say that you wouldn't kill my senior brother if you fused with him? He roared. Although he was angry, he was still his senior brother. If Old Man Devil knew that he was gone, he would be very sad. Who said it would take his life? Empress saw that she was yelling at him again, just like before, and not with the fear and alienation from before. The unhappiness in his heart miraculously disappeared. It's just his soul that's asleep. But you're only temporarily in his body. He'll be in a deep sleep before you fuse with him. When you really fuse with it, will he still be around? It's because he hasn't fused that he's sleeping. If he fused, he wouldn't be sleeping. Empress said. Furthermore, sleeping right now is good for him. What benefits? His soul strength isn't as strong as mine. Although he has the soul fluid nourishing him, it's still very tiring to support this body. Right now his soul is resting. It's the same as a person resting when they're tired. Empress explained. Oh. Sima Yue believed that Empress wasn't lying to her. What happens after the fusion? After fusing, he should be me, and I should be him. Empress said a little strangely. As soon as he entered Wu Lingyu's body, his feelings were accepted by his soul. He also understood that his feelings for her were actually called like. He liked her, and the other part of his soul also liked her. If they fused, he didn't know what he would become. Sima Yue opened her mouth. She did not know how to describe what the two of them would look like when they merged. Empress walked over and reached out to pinch her nose. Seeing her bright red nose, his mood was exceptionally good. So this was what it felt like to touch her with a physical body. His soul had touched her before, but the feeling was different from touching her with his real body. Before he became a demon, he had never touched a woman. After becoming a demon, he had never touched a woman. He didn't know that this feeling was so subtle. Sima Yue's nose hurt from being pinched. She slapped his hand away and said, Then what about Wuxia? Also, why did you want me to come to the demon race? I wanted to come to the demon race to investigate some things. I couldn't be too far away from you, so I could only ask you to come with me. Empress said. Then you could have just told me directly. Sima Yue lowered her head and muttered unhappily. I was wrong. Next time I'll tell you directly. Sima Yue suddenly raised her head and blinked her eyes. Her face was filled with shock as she looked at him. Was he apologizing to her? Mo Sha originally didn't know why he said those words. However, after entering this body, his thoughts seemed to have changed. However, seeing the shock on Sima Yue's face, he turned his head away in embarrassment. Was he being controlled by the emotions of this body? Thinking of this, he felt a little worried. This body's feelings for her were very strong. Although Wu Lingyu had always been suppressing it, no one knew what would happen if they fused. Even he himself didn't know. Sima Yue smiled. It was rare to see him like this. Although she wanted to tease him a little more, she decided against it when she saw his red cheeks. After all, he was the Demon King. His face was thin. It was good enough that he apologized. If she angered him and got beaten to death, it wouldn't be worth it. Then what should we do with him? Sima Yue pointed at Huaxiao, who was lying on the ground. Is he the descendant of your previous subordinate? Yes. Mo Sha walked over and pressed his finger on Huaxiao's forehead. Sima Yue saw him close his eyes and then open them again. She then said, keep him in the spirit pagoda. Don't let him wake up. Oh. Sima Yue waved her hand, and Huaxiao disappeared from the ground. Where are we going now? Since he said he had something to do, he definitely had to go into the depths of the demon realm. You have to change your aura, Mo Sha said. I have to change my aura like that? Keep your other spiritual energy, and let the dark spiritual energy circulate throughout your body. Mo Sha said. Sima Yue nodded and sat down cross-legged. She kept all the spiritual energy in her body into her spirit pagoda pool, and then released the suppressed dark spiritual energy. As the dark spiritual energy circulated in her body, the aura on her body slowly changed. In the end, there was no longer any light aura. You have to change your appearance again, Mo Sha said. Why, other people don't recognize me. Demons who can transform into human form are all very strong people. The stronger they are, the closer their human form is to that of a human. After he finished speaking, he even glanced at her. Sima Yue glared back. Wasn't this guy saying that her strength was too weak? I don't want that ugly appearance. Thinking about all the different types of demons she saw before, she definitely wouldn't want to turn into that appearance. You don't have to transform into that. Mo Sha knew what she was thinking. Make your ears sharper, or grow something on your head, or a tail. Those with a higher bloodline will transform faster. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Grow something on my head? Grow an extra tail? She couldn't imagine herself becoming like that. Don't tell me there are no demons in human form? There are, but they are royalty, Mo Sha said. If they are royalty, it won't be beneficial for me to do things. He said it so bluntly. Then you don't look like a human? Do you have my strength? Mo Sha raised his eyebrows. Sima Yue clenched her fists and tried her best to control herself from punching him. After taking a few deep breaths, she called out 1,000 resonance and made a contract with him. 2 horns grew on her head and her ears grew longer. White fur grew on the back of her hands. Mo Sha saw that she had transformed into such a cute appearance and his heart moved. He wanted to pinch her again. He had always been someone who did what he wanted. With this thought, he walked over and reached out to pinch her ears. Chapter 579. Although this was the effect of transforming, these ears were still hers. Being touched by Mo Sha like this, she also had the same feeling. She tilted her head back, avoiding his demonic claws, then lifted her leg to kick him. She originally thought that he would dodge, but she didn't expect that he would stand there without moving. That kick landed solidly on his leg. Sima Yue had always trained her body, so Wu Lingyu's body wasn't as sturdy as hers. This kick caused a heart-wrenching pain. Seeing him grimace in pain, she then retracted her leg in satisfaction, saying, "Where are we going now?" Mo Sha eased the pain, then recalled the memories he just obtained from Huaxiao's body, saying, "To the place he wants to bring you. Are we going to find the descendants of your former subordinates?" Sima Yue caught up to him. Emosha nodded. But so many years have passed, and you were killed. We don't even know what happened to the descendants of your former subordinates. Sima Yue said worriedly. I know, that's why I came here. Emosha said. Are you going to test them? Those who followed me back then all knew that my soul was strong. And I also left a message saying that I would return. At that time they were sincere. But as time passes, it's still unknown whether or not their descendants will abide by the rules of their ancestors. If they've already betrayed us, then we naturally can't let them know that I'm back. But how do you know who the descendants of your subordinates are, and where they are? What do they look like now? Emosha pointed at his own head. I just went to read Huaxiu's memories. I just need to find one. Huaxiu knows that you're back. Sima Yue stopped in her tracks. I've contacted the Hua family. They know that I'm back, but they don't know who I am. They only said that they have a clue on you, so they asked Huaxiu to bring you back. Emosha glanced at her. Seeing that she wasn't angry, he let out a sigh of relief. Is the Hua family reliable? Emosha shook his head. We'll know when we see. Are you going to use me as bait? What? Emosha looked at her in astonishment, shocked by her words. I say, since they want to get information from me, shouldn't they ask me? Then I will go to them. If they are loyal to you, then we can rest assured. If it doesn't work, just bring me an escape. Sima Yue said. Emosha stopped and stared at her cute appearance for a long time before sighing. This is very dangerous. I know. Sima Yue thought to herself that she was not a fool. How could she not know this? If the Hua family was still loyal to him, she would be safe this time. If that wasn't the case, then the other party would definitely think of a way to destroy her and cut off his way back. Then why are you still going? Of course, Sima Yue said. But I have a condition. What condition? If you regain your identity one day, you can't kill me to wash away the shame of being contracted, and you can't touch my family and friends. Sima Yue said solemnly. Otherwise, I won't break the contract with you. He thought about it just now. If those people were not his people and knew about his existence, they would definitely kill her to silence her. At that time, wouldn't it be equally dangerous? Why not take the initiative to go and exchange for some benefits? I remember that we discussed this before. Emosha's face was a little gloomy. Did he look so scary? When did he become someone who didn't keep his words? Sima Yue understood his thoughts. But didn't they say that demons were temperamental and treated promises like farts? Then promise me one more time. Because of his face, she did not ask him to swear. Dark God above, if one day I break the contract with Sima Yue, I will definitely not kill her and her family and friends because of this. If I go back on my words, I will fall into hell forever. After Emosha finished speaking, a black light flashed into his chest. Emosha, Sima Yue did not think that Emosha would swear and was stunned. Are you relieved now? You don't actually have to swear. Sima Yue felt that she seemed to have made him a little angry. Emosha lifted his leg and continued to walk forward, leaving behind a sentence, so that you won't be worried. Sima Yue rubbed her nose, but swearing like this made her feel more relieved. So he also knew that he would not let her be at ease. However, it was rare for him to swear this kind of oath for her. She ran a few steps to catch up with him, asking, Since we're going to the Hua family, why not let Huaxiu bring me there directly? No. Emosha didn't even think about it before rejecting. Why? Going directly to the Hua family is the most effective way. I can't let you take the risk. Emosha rejected without hesitation. Although he was anxious to know how many loyal subordinates were left, he never thought of letting her take the risk. If it wasn't for the fact that he couldn't leave her, he wouldn't even let her come to the devil world. Could it be because he liked her? She lived for so many years in her previous life, but she never experienced what it was like to like someone. She didn't think that she would actually understand it through his body. He liked her too. Thinking of this, Emosha's mood became bad again. Although this person was another part of his soul, he still didn't want to. Sima Yue saw that Emosha's expression changed every now and then, and even blocked their connection, so she didn't understand what he was thinking. Where are we going now? To a nearby town. Walk there? You have a dark flying beast? No. She only had Little Dream as her magical beast, but she was such a cute person. How could she bear to ride her on the road? However, when she thought of Little Dream, she called her out. You, why did you call Little Dream out? Little Dream seemed to be sleeping and was still in a daze. We're in the devil world. Do you want to see the place where you used to live? Sima Yue said as she patted her head. Little Dream saw a barren world, and was especially excited. She smiled and nodded at Sima Yue. Yu, it's so comfortable here. When Sima Yu heard what she said, she sighed in her heart and thought, sure enough, it's better for a fish to live in the water. Little Dream turned into a pony and ran beside her for a while before running back. Yu, where do you want to go? I'll bring you there. I'm very fast. Sima Yue didn't say anything, but Emo Sha was already on Little Dream's back. If you want to walk, we'll go first. Emo Sha ignored her sharp gaze. She walked over, but before she could decide whether to sit in front or behind, he grabbed her and lifted her up to sit in front of him. Chapter 580. Sima Yue was very dissatisfied with the two's position, but Little Dream started running happily, not even asking if the direction was right. However, Emo Sha didn't say anything, so it seemed that this direction was right. Xiaoming's speed was very fast. In a few days they left the wasteland. When they passed through a forest, Sima Yue actually saw a few families. There are people who live such ordinary lives in the devil realm? She turned her head slightly and asked. Her earlobe just happened to land next to Emo Sha's lips. Emo Sha opened his mouth to answer her question, and sucked her earlobe into his mouth. The atmosphere between the two of them suddenly became a little strange. Sima Yue blushed. She turned around and said awkwardly, You haven't answered my question. Emo Sha saw the red cloud on her face, and his lips curled into a smile. The devil world is the same as the human world. Naturally, there will be ordinary people. But rumor has it that the demon realm is a wasteland. The entire world is dark and not suitable for living. Look, before we came in, this place was still red. This place is indeed not suitable for living. Emo Sha said. But I think the environment here is similar to the human realm. This place is lacking in resources, Emo Sha explained. But the devil realm uses a lot of things from the human realm. You can't absorb spiritual power, so it's useless even if you go there. Sima Yue was confused. Even so, the devil race still tried their best to escape to the human realm. Batches after batches of them died. Even Emo Sha had led troops into the human realm when he was alive. Emo Sha's mouth revealed a mocking smile. Who said that things from the human realm can't be used in the devil realm? Isn't that so? Isn't there a difference even in medicinal pills? She was puzzled. In the past, the devil world wasn't like this. Emo Sha only said this one sentence, and didn't say anything else. It was as if there was some secret that he didn't want her to know. Feeling the cold air behind her, she felt that it was better to keep her mouth shut. However, he was a little curious about the demon realm. If the demon realm wasn't like this before, then what was it like? Could it be the same as the human realm? Or was it a part of the mortal world that was separated from the mortal world? She couldn't figure it out no matter how hard she thought about it, so she was too lazy to think about it. She let Xiaoming take her to the nearest city. Previously, she still had the mood to observe this world, but as she walked further, she realized that this place was just as Emo Sha had said. This place was lacking in resources, and many things were missing. The most common thing was the burnt land. Furthermore, the dark spiritual energy here was very thin. At first, she thought it was only because she was near the edge of the city, but she didn't expect it to be the same in a populated area. Cities were generally built in places with dense spiritual energy. As Emo Sha walked, the air pressure on his body became lower and lower. A certain person sitting in front was affected by the air pressure and straightened her body, afraid that she would be frozen into an ice cube if she got too close. The town is not far ahead. Let's walk over. Emo Sha finished speaking and got down from Little Dream's body. After Sima Yue came down, Xiaoming turned into a little girl. Perhaps it was because she had been rushing, but her eyes were a little tired. Do you want to go back and rest? She pinched Little Dream's little face and asked with a smile. Little Meng is not tired. You don't have to go back and rest. Little Dream shook her head firmly. She paused for a moment before continuing. I want to see what this world is like. Sima Yu's heart ached. She understood that this pain came from Little Dream. Although she didn't remember her past, and didn't remember the place she used to live in, she still wanted to see what this world was like. Alright, since you want to see it, then you can see it here. Let's go find an inn to rest. She glanced at Emo Sha. Seeing that he didn't object, she held Little Dream's hand and walked towards the city. The cities in the devil world were similar to the human world. They had everything they should have, but the prices were too high. Normal people couldn't afford it. As for that so-called inn, it was a place where good and bad people were mixed together. The traces of the fight from before hadn't even been cleaned up yet. Although Sima Yue understood the devil language, she couldn't speak it. Thus, Emo Sha was the one who went to ask for a room. The moment they entered the city, they attracted a lot of attention. When they arrived at the inn, the entire lobby quietened down. A handsome and powerful young master, a delicate and cute girl, and a child of an unknown race with a noble bloodline. Their combination made everyone's eyes light up. Especially the girl's half-human form. She was especially attractive. Everyone who saw the two ears on the top of her head wanted to pinch them. Sima Yu was dressed in female clothing at this time. Her figure was very small in the eyes of the devil clan. In addition to those horns, those ears and that exquisite figure, it caused many males to swallow their saliva. 2 upper rooms. Emo Sha said in the devil language. His cold aura made the shopkeeper behind the counter feel as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. Alright, 2 upper rooms. The shopkeeper's body went soft from his glare. He quickly ordered a waiter to bring them upstairs. As soon as they left, the hall burst into an uproar. Everyone was guessing the identities of those people. They all saw that man clearly. His strength could definitely kill them all. A child who could completely transform into a human at such a young age. How noble was his bloodline. In the midst of the discussion, a devil hurriedly ran out. In the following days, Emo Sha often went out, but no one knew where he went. Sima Yue didn't know how to speak the devil language, so she always stayed in her room. Emo Sha didn't want her to go find the Hua family, so she didn't have anything to do here. In order to avoid being exposed, she was determined not to leave the house. Little Dream was very curious about the cities in the devil world. Helpless, she could only bring Little Dream out for a walk. But she didn't expect that this walk would cause trouble. Pure white devils were rare in the devil world, but this kind of devil had a different status here. They would become the target of many devils. Because according to legends, living with pure white devils would not only bring extreme happiness, but also increase one's cultivation. In the past, pure white devils weren't rare, but in recent years, this kind of devil was rare. So they became the target of many people. Emo Sha hadn't returned for a long time, and Little Dream had forgotten about the past. So they didn't know about the pure white devils and forgot to avoid them. But once they forgot, their trip this time was completely messed up. Sima Yue brought Little Dream to stroll on the streets. Little Dream was curious about everything, touching this and looking at that. Her eyes were full of excitement. Sima Yue followed behind, feeling bored. The city in the devil world was very backward. It was worse than the Yilin continent. The streets were filled with all kinds of devils. It wasn't nice at all. It affected the city's appearance. She complained in her heart. Suddenly, a group of people ran over from the corner of the street, surrounding her and Little Dream. Chapter 581. Seeing this sudden situation, the people on the street quickly moved away from them. Xiaoming stood in front of Sima Yue and said, "You don't be afraid. I'll protect you." Sima Yue looked at the small figure in front of her and smiled. Okay. These people looked ferocious at first glance. When they came over, they even kicked away the people in front of them. Although these people were also from the devil race, they were just ordinary people who lived ordinary lives. In the past, she was a little prejudiced against the demons, but that was because most of them were vicious and cruel. Now that he had come to the devil realm and seen their lives with his own eyes, he realized that they were actually similar to the human realm. There were ordinary people and ordinary lives. The ferocious ones were only a minority. Who are you? Why are you stopping us? Little Dream looked at those people and did not panic. Our young master wants to invite her as a guest. One of the yellow-haired monkeys said. Sima Yue looked at him. She seemed to have seen him in the inn before. Who is your young master? We don't know him. We won't go. Xiaoming directly refused. This is a place where you can't go just because you want to. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Seeing that Xiaoming didn't buy it, the yellow-haired man lost his patience and directly threatened. The guards surrounding them moved in unison, indicating their presence. If he didn't obediently follow them, they would directly take action. Xiaoming glanced at them coldly and shouted, "Scram! Men, escort them back to the young master." The yellow-haired man shouted, and the others rushed towards them. Little Dream coldly snorted and waved her hand at those people. Those people all flew out. Demon King. The yellow-haired man crawled up from the ground and looked at Xiaoming in horror. Such a small child was actually the Demon King. Scram! Xiaoming knew that Sima Yue didn't want to cause too much trouble, so she didn't kill them directly. This time, those people ran away scared witless, not daring to look back. Sima Yue saw that the others were pointing at them and whispering to Xiaoming, telling her to return. Although Xiaoming liked crowds, she didn't want to be stared at like that. Thus, she pulled her hand and returned to the inn. However, this matter wasn't so easily. At night, Sima Yue saw Xiaoming who sneaked out and shook her head helplessly. Very quickly Little Dream came back. When she saw Yu lying on the bed and looking at her, she ran over with a smile. Yu, Sima Yue SS Xiaoming. Yue Xiaoming. Yu SS Xiao Yueming. Meng Xiaoming. Meng Meng. Meng Zhao's Meng Meng Mengs. Dream of the of Meng Bi. Of Meng Meng Yun. Of Mengt. Hua Jing didn't know why they were so far away, but when he opened the lid he understood. This antidote was unusually smelly. Sima Yue saw Hua Jing's furrowed brows and Mo Sha's mocking smile and laughed awkwardly. She had a special obsession with this kind of antidote, which was that it would usually be very smelly. This was because this kind of poison would usually not be used on their own people. As for others, how could they not suffer? Huaxiao took the antidote and quickly woke up. When he saw Hua Jing, he subconsciously called out, "Brother." Since he's already awake, let's hurry and set off. Mo Sha said. Thus, the confused Yue and the confused Huaxiao followed them and hurriedly left the inn, leaving the city. Not long after they left, the two of them landed in a courtyard somewhere in the city. When they saw the corpses everywhere, their faces turned ugly. Look at these people. They all look like they died in their dreams. One of them said. The other gasped. Died in their dreams? Could it be, could it be? Chapter 582. That person said several times, but he didn't finish his sentence. It was obvious how shocking this matter was. Could it be that people from that race have really appeared? How is that possible? They have already been exterminated by several major races. How can they still appear? I hope our guess is wrong. We came here to capture the demon fox. Now that they're all dead, where are we going to find them? Since the demon fox appeared here, there must be someone who has seen it before. Let's go investigate and find out. Demon fox was a general term for the pure white demon race. Then what should we do about this place? Send it back to the family and let them decide. That's the only way. Someone's coming. Let's leave this place first. The two of them then disappeared from where they stood. Not long after, a few more demons arrived. Seeing this situation, he was also quite shocked. He immediately contacted the higher-ups. The innkeeper of the inn that Sima Yue had stayed in previously had been traumatized over the past 2 days. In the past, this was just a small town, and there weren't many important people who came here. However, because of the demon fox who had stayed here, more than 10 groups of people had come to ask for information. Some of them were kinder, while others were more ferocious. Twice he had almost died in the hands of these people. When this group of people left, the innkeeper felt as if he had just walked through the gates of hell. He immediately decided to close the inn for a year to avoid the limelight. Although there had always been so many people in the devil realm who were rationally breaking the barrier and going to the human realm, none of them gave him such a strange feeling. He had a feeling that the devil realm was about to change from the moment those 3 people stepped into this place. The news of the demon fox's appearance quickly spread throughout the demon realm. It had been tens of thousands of years since a demon fox had appeared. Therefore, other than those who had come to inquire about the news, the others also joined the search for the demon fox. However, ever since the demon fox had left the city, no one had seen her again. At this moment, Sima Yue was standing in front of the ruins, looking at the sorrowful cries of Wuxia and his brother. At this moment, she had already changed her attire. The 2 horns on her head had turned into a pair of long ears, and there was a short tail behind her buttocks. The back of her hands was still covered in fur. But with the Wuxia brothers' reminder, she painted all her hair black. It took her a few days to make this dye. Since Sima Yue had changed her appearance, Mo Sha and Little Dream had no choice but to change as well. However, since both of them looked the same, it wasn't easy to change. Fortunately, Wuxia was an expert in disguise. After a few fiddles, the 2 of them had changed their appearances. Only after changing their clothes did they appear in front of others again. They rushed towards a branch of the Hua family, wanting to see their family head, because they heard that the family head had come here. However, when they arrived, they discovered that the Hua family had already been exterminated. The house had been burnt to a crisp. As for the fate of their patriarch, it was still unknown. Well, you 2 brothers, don't be sad. Maybe your patriarch isn't dead? When Sima Yue saw the 2 brothers grieving over the broken walls, she could not help but think of the time when her grandfather and brothers were taken away. She stood in front of the destroyed general's residence and could not help but comfort them. Who do you have enmity with? Mo Sha asked. The Zhu family. Hua Jing said. Hearing about the Zhu family, Mo Sha furrowed his brows. Are they also your former subordinates? Sima Yue asked. They have already defected. Not long after the king died, they followed the current royal family. Huaxiao said. Not only that, they have been persuading other clans to betray the teachings of their ancestors. Those who are unwilling, they have been suppressing them. Some clans could not withstand their coercion, and became the royal family's lackeys. As for those who were unwilling, a portion of them were killed back then. Those who survived all lived in seclusion. Are those people still there? Sima Yue asked. The hidden clans were very powerful back then. The royal family had no way to suppress them, so they were allowed to live in seclusion. After so many years, we are not sure what the hidden clans have become. Hua Jing said. However, as they were all subordinates of the king, I think the patriarch and the others should know. Young master, if you want to find them, you have to find the patriarch. But the devil realm is so big. We don't know if your patriarch was captured here. Even if he was, we don't know where he was taken. Where should we go to find him? Sima Yue said. Also, your branch here has been destroyed. We don't know what your clan situation is now. Huaxiao and Huaxiao were also worried. That's right, this branch had been destroyed. It was very likely that the others had also been destroyed. Mo Sha did not say anything. He walked into the ruins and formed a seal with both hands. The space around him actually began to distort with his movements, and his figure gradually became transparent. This is... Huaxiao sucked in a deep breath as he watched the distorted space slowly form into an image. In the image, there was a cruel massacre taking place. After killing people, they set fire to the house and burned the people to ashes. At the end of the image, when they left, the Hua clan's patriarch was also taken away. The image gradually disappeared, and the distorted space returned to normal. Mo Sha's body once again appeared in the ruins. Did you see it clearly? He looked at Huaxiao and the others. I saw it clearly. Those people were indeed from the Zhu clan. Huaxiao said. The one who was taken away in the end was your patriarch? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Hua Jing replied. Looking at what they said at the end, they were going to take the patriarch to Blood Level City. Blood Level City. Sima Yue saw that the two brothers' expressions were not too good. She felt that this matter was more troublesome. Is it very dangerous there? That's where the Zhu clan's main clan is. Hua Jing said. And they also said at the end that they would be meeting with their old friends very soon. This means that the patriarch was not the first to be captured. Why did they capture so many patriarchs? Where did those powers come from? The Imperial clan, Emosha said. Sima Yue did not know about those patriarchs, but from Hua Jing's words and their expressions, this matter seemed to be very troublesome. Then should we go to Blood Level City to save their patriarch now? We must save the patriarch, but we must first understand the situation in the clan. We cannot go to Blood Level City so easily. We must be prepared. Hua Jing said. Then let's go to your main clan first. Emosha finished speaking and turned to leave. Sima Yue followed him. There were very few teleportation arrays here, unlike many cities in the human realm. They could only rely on their flying beasts now. However, they did not go far before they were surrounded by a group of people. Who are you people? Huaxiao asked. It's not up to you to ask who we are. Hand her over to us. The leader pointed at Sima Yue and said. Chapter 583. Looking for her? Sima Yue blinked her eyes. She had already changed her appearance. Why was he still looking for her? Was it because she was a woman? If it weren't for the fact that she had to retract her light attribute spiritual power and make the illusion ring ineffective, she would have disguised herself as a male demon, no matter how ugly he was. Why are you looking for me? I don't even know you. She saw those disgusting gazes and subconsciously hid behind Emosha. Princess Black Jade, I advise you to stop resisting. As long as you're in the devil realm, you won't be able to escape from my master's palms. That person said. Princess Black Jade? What the hell was that? The Black Jade clan is one of the more powerful clans in the demon race. He had the bloodline of the ancient divine beast Roar in his body. His strength is also relatively strong, but from the looks of it, the situation doesn't seem too good. Emosha knew that Sima Yue didn't understand these things, so he lowered his head and explained to her. Looking at her long ears and her furry hands that were holding onto his clothes, she really did look like someone from the Black Jade clan. Isn't Little Roar's clan a light-type mythological beast? Sima Yue didn't understand. How could light beasts and darkness beasts be related? You'll understand in the future. Emosha didn't want to say more. She curled her lips and shouted at those people. I'm not your old Shin princess. You've got the wrong person. Looking like this and speaking the human language, who else could it be but Princess Black Jade? The leader waved his hand. Take them back. Your family? Hua Jing looked at those people and said with a cold face. Your Ji clan actually dared to make a move against the Black Jade clan. Aren't your guts a bit too big? It's not up to others to interfere with what my family wants to do. That person said. Originally, I heard that this Princess Black Jade was alone. I didn't expect you to be together with her. It doesn't matter if you knew each other in the past, or if you've bumped into each other now. Since you've seen this, then I'm sorry. Other than Princess Black Jade, leave no one alive. Yes. The members of the Ji tribe were not weak, but they were no match for Xiaomeng. She moved her body and Sima Yue saw a black shadow flash before her eyes. All of them fell to the ground. I hate people who have designs on you the most. Little Dream stepped on the last person like a child. Huaxiao and Hua Jing stared dumbfoundedly at the jumping little person, especially Huaxiao. His mouth was about to fall to the ground. Xiaomeng. Sima Yue waved at Xiaomeng. Xiaomeng let go of the corpse and returned to Sima Yue's side. You don't worry. Those people won't dare to capture you. Little Dream's thoughts were very simple. The people who captured you were all bad people. Sima Yue had only said one word when Emosha's body suddenly moved. His right hand moved in a direction and a black shadow was sucked over. Emo Sha grabbed it by the throat. "Wait a minute!" Sima Yue shouted. Emo Sha's tightening hand subconsciously stopped. He glanced at Sima Yue, unhappy that she had interrupted him. "We don't know who the other party is." Sima Yue pursed her lips and explained. And then, the black shadow grabbed Emo Sha's hand with both hands, trying to pry his hand away. "Your Princess Black Jade?" Hua Jing sized up the black shadow and said uncertainly. The black shadow bared her teeth at Hua Jing, but she looked too cute, so this action was not scary at all. However, her reaction confirmed that she was indeed Princess Black Jade. Sima Yue looked at her, then looked at herself. Besides the different facial features, they really did look alike. No wonder those people mistook her for Princess Black Jade. "Let go of me." Princess Black Jade lifted her leg and kicked at Emo Sha. Emo Sha's eyes darkened. With a toss of his hand, Princess Black Jade was thrown out and smashed onto the ground. Pooh! Princess Black Jade supported herself on the ground and spat out light purple blood. Blue blood. Sima Yue saw Princess Black Jade's blood and walked over curiously. The blood of the demons she had seen before was almost all blue in color, or red like humans. This was the first time she had seen light purple blood. "Don't come over. Or else I'll die here. None of you will be able to get me." Princess Black Jade took out a dagger and held it to her neck. "We just saved you." Sima Yue stopped in her tracks and said. "You saw it just now. Those people mistook me for you, so you escaped death. We already discovered you just now. If we handed you over to them, you would have been captured." Princess Black Jade's eyes flashed, but she did not deny this fact. "But you want to kill me too?" She looked up at Emo Sha. His murderous aura just now was real. If Sima Yue hadn't called out in time, she would have been dead by now. "You were injured before. If you don't treat it, it will get worse." Sima Yue saw her like this and thought that Emo Sha was really ruthless. He didn't have any tender feelings for the fairer sex. "I can save you." Princess Black Jade's eyes flashed with surprise. She didn't expect her to say such a thing. Sima Yue took out a bottle of pills and walked over. She took out one and handed it to her. Little Dream ran over and tugged at her clothes. She stared at Princess Black Jade and saw that she didn't move. She said unhappily, You said she can treat your injuries, so she definitely can. If she wanted to kill you, would she need to use such a method?" Princess Black Jade hid in the distance and saw Little Dream kill everyone in an instant. She thought that what she said was right, so she took the pill and ate it. This pill was refined by Sima Yue when she was practicing refining pills for Emo Sha. She didn't expect it to come in handy now. Princess Black Jade ate the pill and felt much better. Her gaze towards Sima Yue softened a little. "Thank you." "No need to thank me. Who asked you to be related to my family's little roar?" Sima Yue saw the two long ears on Princess Black Jade's head. They really resembled little roar. She couldn't help but reach out to touch them. Princess Black Jade was shocked. She stared at Sima Yue and subconsciously wanted to slap her. Fortunately, Little Dream was quick enough to grab hold of her. "You don't know what's good for you. You saved you, but you still want to hit her." Little Dream's eyes were filled with hostility. Cough cough. "You must have violated the Black Jade clan's taboo," Hua Jing explained from the side. "What taboo?" Sima Yue didn't understand. Touching her ears was a taboo? "In the Black Jade clan, you can't casually touch other people's ears," Hua Jing said. "If your ears are touched by a man, it means that he wants to marry her. But I'm a girl. If it's a girl, it means that the girl wants to play with her." Sima Yue's face was filled with black lines. She felt as if a crow was flying behind her head. Chapter 584. He didn't expect that touching the ears of the Black Jade clan would cause such a reaction. No wonder they were so angry. This slap was considered light. If she hadn't seen that she had saved her just now, she probably would have killed her. Although he might not be able to kill her. "I'm sorry, I didn't know about this rule." Sima Yue apologized. "It's not your fault if you don't know. Just pretend that I didn't touch you. Princess Blackjade looked at her and saw the apologetic look in her eyes. She knew that she hadn't done it on purpose. Although she wasn't angry at her, she still felt very uncomfortable. Sima Yue glanced at Little Dream. Little Dream let go of Princess Blackjade's hand, but she still looked at her warily, afraid that she would hurt Yue again. Wuxia walked over and looked at Princess Blackjade, who was sitting on the ground, and Yue, who was squatting beside her. He said, "You two really do look a little alike." Sima Yue tugged at her ears. She was frustrated that no matter how she dressed up, she would always attract trouble. It seemed like she had to change her appearance again. Could it be that he really had to change it into that ugly appearance? She couldn't help but shudder when she thought of the ugly demons she had seen along the way. You don't need to change it. It's the way it is, Emosha said. Sima Yue turned around and glanced at him. Didn't this guy hide their previous relationship? How did he know what she was thinking? What's your name? Wuxia asked Princess Blackjade. Bajiazi. Princess Blackjade said. Bajiazi, are you really the princess of the Blackjade clan? Sima Yue asked. Bajiazi nodded. Then why are you here? Wuxia asked. I was being chased by the Gui race and just happened to escape here. Bajiazi said. What about your people? Bajiazi shook her head. I was out on a mission this time and was chased on the way back. The guards I brought with me were all killed and I escaped alone. I don't know if they are targeting me or the Blackjade clan. Can you guys help me? I'll reward you. I'm sorry, we're also in trouble right now. Hua Jing glanced at Emosha. Seeing his solemn face, he tactfully declined. When Bajiazi heard this, tears immediately welled up in her eyes. However, she didn't continue pleading. Yue couldn't bear to see her drooping ears. Every time Little Roar felt upset, he would always be like this. Well, why don't we help her? She tugged at her ears. We should help her all the way. Yue, we may also encounter trouble. Hua Jing said. When the time comes, we may implicate Princess Blackjade. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. The Hua family was also in trouble now. They had to quickly solve the problem and let Emosha settle things quickly before returning to the primordial lands. After all, they were not demons. The longer they stayed in the demon realm, the more dangerous it would be for them. But was he really going to leave such a cute little person here? When Bajiazi saw Sima Yue's hesitation, her ears drooped even lower. You help her. Maybe she will give you a surprise. Little Roar suddenly transmitted to her. Surprise? You're sure it won't be a scare? Sima Yue asked uncertainly. This guy seemed to be unreliable all along. Trust me. Little Roar said with certainty. Although Sima Yue didn't know why Little Roar would say that. She couldn't bear to reject a request from one of her own. Towards Little Roar, the first divine beast to follow her, she had always been tolerant. No matter how much trouble he caused or how much he ate, she always spoiled him. Little Roar said that he wants us to help her. She said to Emosha. Hua Jing and Huaxiao didn't know who Little Roar was, but they noticed that after Yue said this, Emosha's expression softened. He hesitated for a moment before nodding. Little Roar had the inheritance of their ancestors, and the Blackjade clan had the bloodline of the Divine Roar. Perhaps Little Roar knew something that they didn't. All right, don't cry. We promise to help you. Sima Yue reached out to wipe away Bajiazi's tears, comforting her. Thank you. Bajiazi said gratefully. She could tell that because of Yue, Emosha and the other two were willing to help her. Otherwise, in a place like the Devil Realm, no one would be willing to help her. All right, let's go. Hua Jing said. We'll talk on the road. This place was too close to the Hua clan's branch. They didn't know if the Zhu clan was nearby, so it was better to leave early. The few of them got on the flying beast and quickly left. Not long after they left, 2 or 3 groups of people came here. However, after looking around, they didn't see anyone, so they left again. Where are we going now? Sima Yue asked. Let's go to the city in front to see the situation first. Emosha said. He glanced at Bajiazi and said, Dye her. It's too conspicuous. Thus, before they entered the city, the 2 little black rabbits became 2 little red rabbits. Yue, your dye is too realistic. It looks so similar to our Red Jade clan. Bajiazi looked at her own red fur. It didn't look like it was dyed at all. The Red Jade clan was different from the Black Jade clan. Although they were both from the Devil Rabbit clan, their bloodlines were too different. People from the Red Jade clan wouldn't notice them when they walked around the Devil Realm. Now that her fur was dyed this color, people wouldn't think of her as the Black Jade clan's princess. You can have any color you want. If one day you get tired of looking at red, we can change to another color. Sima Yue said. No need, no need. This color is the best. Bajiazi shook her head. The Red Jade clan's status in the Devil Realm isn't high or low. Those with low status are easily bullied, while those with high status attract too much attention. This is the best. Alright then. When we part, I'll give you some paint. If one day you want to play with it, you can make it yourself. Sima Yue said. Alright. They entered the city and first accompanied Bajiazi to the place where their clan had agreed to mark. They didn't expect that they would really find a message there. They then went to an inn. After entering, Wuxia and the others exchanged a secret signal with the innkeeper. The innkeeper then invited them to the backyard. Not long after, a human-shaped old man hurriedly ran in. Young masters, thank the heavens. You're safe. The old man came in and grabbed their hands, saying emotionally, Grandpa Yin, we're fine. It's just that the clan head Wuxia said sadly. We already know what happened to the clan head. According to the information we received, the clan head was only captured by them. His life isn't in danger now. Hua Yin said. When we found out that you were also there and weren't captured together, we thought that something bad had happened to you. We weren't there at the time, so we managed to escape. Hua Jing said. After Hua Yin calmed down, he saw Sima Yue and Bajiazi. He frowned and said, The Red Jade clan betrayed the Black Jade clan. Why are you with them? Chapter 585. Hearing Hua Yan's words, everyone was shocked. The Red Jade clan betrayed the Black Jade clan? Bajiazi cried out. Then how are my grandfather and the others? Hearing her words, Hua Yan frowned strangely. Grandpa Yan, she is the princess of the Black Jade clan, Bajiazi. Hua Jing explained. You are the princess of the Black Jade clan? Hua Yan looked at Bajiazi suspiciously. Grandpa Yan, we saved her along the way. Yue used dye to dye her fur. Wuxia said. How are my grandfather and the others? Bajiazi asked. Your grandfather has also been captured along with our clan leader. They are now locked up together. Hua Yan said. The other clansmen have also been killed or captured. Also because of the Red Jade clan's betrayal, the Sea clan knows how to contact you. Some of the people outside have been contacted and captured. Sima Yue recalled the previous contact signal. She did not expect it to be a fake signal. If Bajiazi was alone, she would definitely look for them when she saw the signal, and then she would be caught. The Red Jade clan. Bajiazi clenched her fists, her face filled with anger. To think that my grandfather trusted them so much. I'll go and settle the score with them. If you go now, won't you be playing right into their hands? Sima Yue grabbed her and said. They were looking for you. You went out to look for them and got caught by them to accompany your grandfather? Bajiazi calmed down and said. You're right. I can't panic. I have to think of a way to rescue them. After saying that, she sat to the side to think of a solution. Grandpa Yin, what's going on? I only went there for a few months. How could such a big thing happen? Wuxia asked. This is all a secret plan of the Zhu race and the Gui race. I didn't expect that they would secretly collude with the royal family and persuade the Red Jade race to suppress the Hua race and the Black Jade race at lightning speed. If we hadn't received some information before they acted, I'm afraid we would have all been captured. Hua Yin said. Is the Patriarch and the Patriarch of the Black Jade clan locked up together? The news we received was that they were all locked up in Blood Level City. Hua Yin said. Why did they capture the two clan leaders? Sima Yue asked. Perhaps there is some connection that we don't know about. Wuxia said. No matter what, We have to think of a way to save the clan leader and the rest. Since Ba Jiazi is with us, let's go save her. It's best for her to return to the clan first. Hua Yan said. Why? Because not only did the Red Jade clan betray the Demon Rabbit clan, but they also planned to rule over the Demon Rabbit clan. Therefore, the Black Jade rabbits that were not captured are now in danger. Hua Yan said. Their clan leader is locked up in Blood Level City, so he won't be in danger for the time being. But the same can't be said for those clansmen. But since those people have been captured, there must be many people guarding them. Do we still have enough manpower to rescue them? Hua Jing asked. To be honest, we don't even have enough people to go to Lushui City to save people. Hua Yan spoke the truth. But if we can save the Black Jade clan members, then we will have a better chance of saving the Patriarch and the others. Then are our people confident in saving them? We don't have many people now, and most of them have gone to Blood Level City. We can't rush over to save the Black Jade clan. Then how can we rely on Ba Jiazi alone to save them? Hua Xiu said. We've already investigated. The Black Jade clan members who were captured are not strictly guarded. It's just that they are poisoned, so they can't resist. As long as we can find an alchemist to cure them, then there won't be a problem. Hua Yan said, but our clan's alchemist has been captured, so we have to go outside to find one. And it's best if we can find one within 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days. Hua Xiu and his brother both cried out. The demon world's alchemists are rare. In such a short time, where are we going to find one? Ba Jiazi's original hope was extinguished by Hua Xiu's words. There were so few alchemists, and they might not even meet one in a few months. Now to find one in 2 or 3 days was easier said than done. Do I really have to watch my clansmen die before my eyes? Then how am I going to face grandfather and the others? Thinking of this, Ba Jiazi couldn't help but cry. Hua Xiu and his brother were also worried. If they could save the Black Jade clan members, then it would also help them save the Chinese. But they didn't have a way to make an alchemist appear. What rank do you want an alchemist of? Just as everyone was worrying, Sima Yue suddenly asked. As long as they can reach the 5th rank. Hua Yan said. Then maybe I can help. Sima Yue said. Yue, you're an alchemist? Ba Jiazi asked excitedly. I rarely refine your pills, so if you want any pills, I have to try. Sima Yue said. But it's a good thing that a 5th ranked pill isn't too high, so it should be fine. You're really an alchemist? Hua Xiu looked at her in disbelief. They walked all the way and didn't find her. But, aren't you from the human race? How can you refine the pills we want? What, you're from the human race? Hua Yan and Ba Jiazi were shocked. A human had actually appeared in the devil realm. If the other devil clans knew, then the consequences would be unimaginable. Grandpa Yan, I caught her from the human realm. Hua Xiu said. Sima Yue pursed her lips. If Mo Sha and the others didn't do it on purpose, how could you have caught her? If you're from the human race, then we can't use the pills you refine. To us, it's extremely poisonous. Hua Yan said. Ba Jiazi has already eaten the pills I refined. She's fine. Sima Yue said. The pills I ate were refined by you? Ba Jiazi said softly. She felt as if she had just walked through the gates of hell. However, the effects of the pills were not bad. Sima Yue spread out her hands, and the dark spirit energy gathered in her hands. Everything went without saying. Yue, then please save my clansmen. When the time comes, my Devil Rabbit clan will definitely thank you properly. Ba Jiazi grabbed her hand and said. Sima Yue glanced at Mo Sha. Seeing that he had no objections, she nodded at Ba Jiazi. I want to know the pill recipe and the ingredients you need. Sima Yue said. I have the pill recipe and 2 sets of ingredients. They were all entrusted to me by the previous alchemist. Hua Yan took out a pile of ingredients and a black paper. On the black paper, the pill recipe was written. Sima Yue took the pills and studied them carefully. Then, she picked up the pills and began to refine them. Ever since she had reached the 6th grade, she had begun to refine pills for Mo Sha. These 5th grade pills were not difficult for her. Moreover, these pills were originally one of the simpler ones among the 5th grade pills. After 2 hours, She succeeded in refining the pills on her first try. The second set of ingredients directly doubled the success rate. Hua Jing and the others were stunned. Chapter 586. Sima Yoyue's success rate had opened their eyes. Initially, they were very impressed with her. However, what she said at the end made them want to beat her up. Sai, as expected, I'm not familiar with it. That's why the success rate is so low. As soon as she said this, the shocked crowd came back to their senses. Yue, this is only the second time you've refined this pill. Are you still not satisfied with the results? Ba Jiazi simply could not believe her eyes. This was even more amazing than her family's alchemist. She had seen them refine pills dozens of times, but they did not have the same success rate as her. I can only say that it's barely passable. Sima Yu handed the pills over to Hua Yan. This is probably my pill success rate. Towards the end, I'll only be able to make 2 or 3 pills at most. You'll have to prepare the ingredients according to how many pills you need. Also, just because I've succeeded twice doesn't mean that I'll succeed in the future, so you still have to take these into account. Hua Yan took the pill and was extremely shocked in his heart. Her success rate had already far exceeded his imagination. We'll go and prepare the herbs right away. He took the pills and hurried out. Yu, what are you thinking about? Xiaoming saw Yue frowning in a daze and pulled her hand to ask, is there a problem with this pill? Ba Jiazi looked at her nervously. Could it really be that there was a problem with the pill? He didn't want to disappoint her just when she was filled with hope. No, Sima Yue said. The pills are fine. Then your expression. Ba Jiazi patted her chest. She was scared to death just now. I just have some doubts. Sima Yue smiled. What? Emo Sha asked. Senior brother, I feel that it's a bit strange. If I was in the mortal realm, my success rate would be higher, but it's much lower here. Also, I need to spend more effort on both refining and fusing. Sima Yue voiced out her doubts. This is normal. Emo Sha said faintly. The devil realm's alchemy is much worse than the human realm. Are they all like this? Sima Yue was shocked. Seeing Emo Sha nod his head, she wondered if this was also the suppression of the laws of heaven and earth. Talk, talk, talk. There was a knock on the door as the innkeeper came in and said, Young master, we've just received news that the Black Jade Clan's people have appeared in the city. They've also gone to the Black Jade Clan's contact point, and are now rushing to the rendezvous point. Ba Jiazi stood up and asked, Really? Do you know who's coming? We don't have much contact with the Black Jade Clan, so we don't know those people, the shopkeeper replied. Call the others. Let's go and have a look. Hua Jing instructed. Then he turned to Emo Sha and Sima Yue and said, You guys wait here. We should be back soon. Emo Sha didn't want to go in the first place. Sima Yue had just concocted 2 batches of pills consecutively, and her mental strength hadn't recovered yet. After Huaxiao and the others left, Sima Yue took out 2 drops of soul fluid and consumed them. This is your first time refining pills in the devil realm, so you're not familiar with it yet. In order to succeed, you have to spend more energy. You'll get used to it once you refine more. I'll go back and rest first. After Sima Yue left, Emo Sha stayed in the room for a while. Then he formed a seal with both hands. A black moon and a long sword formed a symbol in the air. He pursed his lips and stared at the symbol. His pupils turned blood red. Go dash, following his voice. The symbol actually broke free from his control and flew into the air. Soon it disappeared. When the symbol disappeared, he stood up and left the room. After Sima Yue went back, she began to cultivate. After a while, she opened her eyes. The confusion in her eyes deepened. The dark spiritual energy here is actually lower than in the primordial lands. How can it be like this? No wonder Emo Sha said that the conditions here are much worse than in the human realm. The heavenly Dao's rules, what exactly are they? Emperor Qing Dao. Thinking about what happened in the pavilion of passing heaven, she was frightened by a bold thought in her mind. It can't be what I'm thinking. However, the devil realm was the devil realm. It wasn't her place to worry about it. Therefore, she should wait for Emo Sha to finish his business and return quickly. Sai, I left just like that. I don't know how Master and the others are now. Would they be worried about me? It's a pity that I can't contact them and tell them that I'm safe. You don't worry. Yulin and the others have your aura. As long as your aura doesn't dissipate, they will know that you're fine. Little Dream said. I'm just afraid that Master and the others won't go find Yulin and the others. They're just worried for nothing. Sima Yue said. However, we were captured and brought to the Devil Realm. It's such a big matter. They should tell grandfather about it. That way, they'll be able to get the news. They definitely will. Little Dream nodded. Oh right. Sima Yue called Little Roar out saying, Little Roar, why did you want me to save Bajiazi? Little Roar stretched lazily saying, the inheritance said that if we meet the Black Jade clan in trouble, we must help them. It will give us an unexpected surprise. The inheritance said that? Sima Yue pursed her lips. Did the inheritance say why it was like this? What kind of surprise would there be? No. Little Roar saw Yue's murderous glare and shrunk his neck. Sima Yue could not help but roll her eyes. She just knew that it would be like this. Scammer. Yu, don't be anxious. Since the inheritance said so, it must be like this. Little Roar nodded his head after he finished speaking, trying to increase the credibility of his words. Sima Yue grabbed the fur on his neck and pulled him in front of her. What I'm more curious about is, why did you only pass on half of the inheritance? No, there must be some secret that you can't tell us. Little Roar explained. Oh. Sima Yue dragged out the last syllable. Little Roar was so scared that his forelimbs shrunk back. Are you sure that the inheritance process wasn't too painful, so you stopped? Yu. Little Roar wanted to protest. She was underestimating him. However, when he saw Yu's clear eyes, he was defeated. Even his 2 long ears shrunk back. Actually, it's not that I stopped. I just felt that those things weren't too important, so I threw them all into the depths of my mind. You can just say that you're lazy. Sima Yue glared at him. Luckily, the Black Jade clan should be on the same side as the Chinese. If they were on the opposite side, it would be troublesome. Oh right, do you know the origin of your clan and theirs? It seems that one of my ancestors was together with someone from the Devil Rabbit clan. Their descendants would carry a little of our bloodline. However, you should know that we are from the Light clan, and they are from the Dark clan. They lived in the Devil realm, so Roar's bloodline became lesser and lesser, resulting in their current state. Sima Yue's eyes lit up. According to what you said, the Black Jade clan also has the light and dark attributes. Chapter 587. Although she had been calm all these years, she had never stopped worrying in her heart. Every time her strength increased a little, her heart would skip a beat. She was afraid that her body would explode one day. If the Black Jade clan also possessed both the darkness and light attributes, then she might be able to get some inspiration to solve her problem. The Black Jade clan has always lived in the Devil realm, so it's not certain if they still have the light attribute. Little Roar said. Sima Yue was no longer angry. She hugged Little Roar and pinched his long ears, saying, since they had it before, even if they don't have it now, they must have a way to solve this problem in the past. When the time comes, I'll ask Bajiazi. Yes. Who knows, they might have a good idea. Little Roar agreed. That's why saving someone is still a good thing. This is a blind cat running into a dead mouse. Next time, if you make such an unreliable decision for me, I won't forgive you. Sima Yue threatened. I know. Little Roar originally wanted to quibble, but when he looked up, he saw her round eyes staring at him. That gaze seemed to be saying that if he quibbled, she would definitely not forgive him. Thus, it decided to obediently admit its mistake. In a few dangerous places in the demon realm, a few huge eyes suddenly appeared out of thin air. Those pairs of eyes looked at the symbols slowly forming in the air, and their hazy eyes flashed with surprise. Then, their mountain-like bodies slowly rose from the ground, and their long backs were already covered with plants. A river flowed through the swamp, and a symbol slowly appeared on the surface of the river. The river suddenly split in the middle, and a long giant snake flew out from the river. The riverbed was actually a giant snake. These magical beasts seemed to have heard some kind of summoning. They shook their bodies and then flashed in the same direction like beams of light. However, the people of the Devil Realm were unaware of this matter. They did not know that the situation of the world was about to change drastically. Bajiazi and the others hadn't returned yet, so Emo Sha came to find Sima Yue and asked her to wait for Huaxiao and the others while he went out. When Sima Yue saw that he did not intend to let her follow him, she knew that the distance was not far. She was thinking about the Black Jade clan, so she nodded to show that she understood and did not ask what he was going to do. Not long after Emo Sha left, Bajiazi and the others returned. Along with them were 2 humanoid Black Jade clan members. Bajiazi, I have something to ask you. Sima Yue called out to Bajiazi as soon as she saw her. Bajiazi had just saved 2 of her clansmen, and was somewhat happy. She ran over and asked, "What do you want to ask?" Sima Yue looked at Huaxiao and the others before pulling Bajiazi into her room. Bajiazi was very curious about her mysterious behavior. "What's wrong?" Bajiazi asked. "I heard that you have the bloodline of the ancient divine beast god Roar. Is that true?" Sima Yue asked. Bajiazi nodded and said, "That's right. It's because we have the bloodline of ancient divine beasts that our status in the Devil Rabbit clan is the highest." "What's wrong?" "The divine Roar is a light attribute spirit beast. You guys are magic beasts. Does that mean you guys have both the light attribute and the dark attribute?" "Yes. Our clansmen are born with 2 attributes." Bajiazi didn't intend to hide anything from her savior. Moreover, this wasn't considered a secret in the devil world. "Then how do you deal with these 2 attributes?" Sima Yue asked. "I don't know either. These are all dealt with when the clansmen are born." Bajiazi said, "You know that there are very few light attributes here. That's why we give up the light attribute when we are born and keep the dark attribute in our bodies." "So you guys only have 1 attribute in your bodies now?" Sima Yue was a little disappointed. If they chose to give up 1 attribute when they were born, she didn't know if it would be useful to her. "Yes," Bajiazi said, "I know that you definitely have the dark and light attributes in your body. However, I don't know how to do it. Only the clan's executive elder and my grandfather know. Once we save my grandfather, I will ask him to help you think of a way." "All right, thank you," Sima Yue replied. Although she didn't know if this method would be useful to her, it was still a kind of hope. "What are you thanking me for? You saved my life. I haven't even had the chance to thank you yet. Moreover, you refined the antidote for my clansmen. This is a huge favor to our entire clan. I don't even know how to repay you. If this method is useful to you, then it would be the best," Bajiazi said with a smile. Sima Yue looked at Bajiazi's sincere expression and sighed in her heart. Who said that the Devil Clan's people were all cruel by nature? Weren't people like Little Dream and Bajiazi pure and kind? That night, Hua Yin sent the required ingredients over. After that, she went into seclusion in her room to refine pills while Bajiazi and Huaxiao went out from time to time to bring people back. When she finished refining the pills, Huaxiao and the rest were already prepared to set out to save the Black Jade clan. "Where's my senior brother? He's not back yet?" Sima Yue looked around but didn't see Emo Sha's figure. "Not yet. You don't know where he went?" Huaxiao asked. "I didn't ask." Everyone looked at her speechlessly. Weren't they fellow disciples? Why didn't she ask where he went? At this moment, Emo Sha walked in from outside and said, "I'm back." Hua Yin and Hua Jing had the highest status here. Hua Yin already knew that Emo Sha was related to the person they were waiting for. Hence, he was very respectful to him. Seeing that he had returned, Hua Yin ordered them to set out. The Hua clan was also a relatively large force in the Devil Realm. Although the Zhu clan had captured the patriarch and exterminated some branches, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. They still managed to find a relatively powerful array master while Yu was refining pills, and set up a temporary teleportation array during this period of time. Sima Yue carefully looked at the teleportation array. It was similar to the one in the primordial lands, with only a few minor differences. There weren't many people going this time. Most of them were the Black Jade clan members who had been stopped over the past few days. Sima Yue stood in the teleportation array a little apprehensively. When an overwhelming dizziness enveloped her, she knew that this trip would be very uncomfortable. As expected, once she stepped out of the teleportation array, she vomited everything in her stomach. In her words, she even vomited out her bile. Hua Jing and the rest arranged for her and Mo Sha to stay in an inn. This place was still some distance away from the Black Jade clan. They still needed to rush for 2 days before they could reach. Sima Yue lay on the bed listlessly, her face pale. She remembered that Bei Gong Tang would always come to take care of her at this time. When she heard the door open, she thought that Bei Gong Tang had followed them to the Devil Realm. Chapter 588. Crazy Wife. The fifth miss of the Divine Doctor. Mo Sha carried a tray in, and on it was a light blue porcelain bowl. I made something for you. Mo Sha placed the tray on the table, carried the bowl to the bedside, and helped her up with one hand. Sima Yue looked at the light blue soup in the bowl, and asked weakly, "What is this?" "Something good for you," Mo Sha said as he put the bowl to her lips. Sima Yue drank the bowl of blue soup in his hand, and after drinking it, there was still a faint fragrance in her mouth. Her dizziness seemed to have improved by quite a bit. "What is this?" She felt a lot more clear-headed, and asked again. "A concocted medicine," Mo Sha said. "You should rest first." After speaking, he took the bowl and left. On the second day, Mo Sha gave her another bowl of red medicine. On the third day, he gave her another bowl of light green medicine, and on the fourth day, it was more normal. It was a bowl of medicine that was like plain water. Sima Yue drank it every time without hesitation. After drinking the fourth bowl, she felt that her body's perception of space was different, as if she was more integrated with space. Taking advantage of this feeling, she closed her eyes and began to comprehend space. Unexpectedly, she made quite a bit of progress. It was as if she was in a spacious room before, and now she had stepped out of that door and arrived at a vast wilderness. After her comprehension of space increased, she found that the space she could control had increased. In the past, it was only a cubic meter, but now it was half the size of a house. Seeing the space she could control, she was shocked. How did it suddenly become so big? She guessed that it was related to the medicine Mo Sha gave her, and wondered if she could get her hands on it. Later on, she found out that this medicine not only increased her comprehension of space, it also cured her sickness of being dizzy from teleportation arrays. After that, when she used teleportation arrays, she never felt dizzy again. She had just woken up from her comprehension when Mo Sha knocked on the door. The timing was just right. She opened the door and saw Mo Sha standing outside. Without waiting for her to speak, he said, "Let's go out for a while." "Where to?" "To help them." Before she could react, Mo Sha had already turned around and left. She could only close the door and chase after him. Mo Sha brought her for 2 days, and arrived in front of a cave. There were a few corpses of the demon clan at the entrance of the cave. From their figures, it was obvious that they were from the Red Jade clan and the Zhu clan. Mo Sha walked in front while Sima Yue held Little Dream's hand, and walked behind him. The three of them entered the cave, and before they reached the end, they heard rustling sounds coming from inside. "Oh!" A shout came from inside as Wuxia and the others ran out. Seeing that it was them, Wuxia asked in surprise, "Why are you here? Since you guys haven't been back for so long, we came to see if there's anything we can help with." "What's the situation now?" Sima Yue asked. "The people from the Red Jade clan have been taken care of by us. We've also given them the pills, but now we've run into trouble," Wuxia said. "What trouble? Come in and take a look and you'll know." Wuxia turned around and went in after he finished speaking. It was only after Sima Yue entered that she understood what kind of problem they were facing. It turned out that the Red Jade clan had found a huge cage from who knows where and locked all the Black Jade clansmen inside. Now that the cage couldn't be opened, they had no way of getting them out. Seeing Sima Yue and Mo Sha enter, there were still some doubts in their eyes. Hua Jing said, "This is made from 100,000-year-old black iron. Without a key, we can't open it. We've already tried many methods. Sima Yue glanced at Emosha. Could it be that this guy knew from the start that they couldn't open the cage, and let her open the lock? Ba Jiazi was at the side instructing those people to use their spirit energy to attack, but everyone's spirit energy was exhausted, and there was nothing they could do. She was about to cry as she watched from the side. Sima Yue walked over. When Ba Jiazi saw her, she forced a smile. Why are you here? Let me try. Sima Yue looked at the 1-foot-tall lock. There were burn marks, spirit energy marks, and even some prying marks on it. Okay. Ba Jiazi didn't have much hope for Sima Yue, but since she said it, perhaps there really was a way. Sima Yue went over to look at the lock and used her own flame to test it. After 2 minutes, the lock still didn't budge. The people outside the cage saw a stranger and thought that there was hope. They didn't expect the result to be the same. Yue, normal flames are useless against this. Ba Jiazi said. That's true. Sima Yue kept her own flame and immediately changed it to Qi Yan's. When the flame came out, the temperature in the entire cave suddenly rose. Everyone was terrified of this flame. Yue, what kind of flame is this? Ba Jiazi subconsciously took a step back and looked at the flame in her hand in horror. It's my contracted beasts, Sima Yue said. She threw the flame over, but the flame only managed to wrap around the top of the lock. She looked at the slowly shrinking lock and lamented that it was too slow. If she had a little more flame, the speed would be much faster. However, her flame was the bane of the dark race. She only used a little bit, and everyone in the cave was already trembling in fear. If she used a little more, these people wouldn't be able to handle it. Fortunately, she didn't need to refine the entire lock. She only needed to burn the chain on the lock. It really worked. The people from the Black Jade clan saw that the lock was slowly shrinking, and their eyes were filled with hope. Huaxiao looked at her flame and couldn't help but shiver. If she had used this flame to burn him when he caught her, he would have been burned to ashes. Time slowly passed. After more than an hour, the chain was burned. Sima Yue put away the flame, and the temperature in the room returned to normal. All right. Everyone come out quickly. Little black rabbits came out of the cages. The poison in their bodies had been cured, and they were now full of energy. Princess, the Red Jade clan actually dared to betray us and collude with the Ji clan. We must eliminate them all. A Black Jade clan elder said. Yes, Princess, we must find the Red Jade clan for revenge. Everyone, please calm down. The Red Jade clan betrayed the Devil Rabbit clan. We will definitely not let them go. However, we have more important things to do now. Ba Jiazi comforted them. Grandfather and the others were captured by the Ji clan, and are now imprisoned in Blood Level City. Not only that, they also captured the Chinese clan leader, and maybe the other clan leaders. Our top priority now is to find a way to save Grandfather and the others. As for the Red Jade clan, we must make them pay the price for this matter. Chapter 589. After that, Sima Yue became a bystander again. She followed behind the Black Jade clansmen, and watched as they took control of the Red Jade clansmen on their territory. They saved the remaining people, and discussed how to rescue the captured clan leader. Then, everyone went to the vicinity of Blood Level City. Emosha said he wanted to go with her because they didn't have much time left in the Devil Realm. Thus, she put on a heroic expression and stepped onto the transportation array. But when she was teleported away, she realized something was different. She was no longer dizzy. When she arrived at her destination, she was still in a daze. Was she really not sick of teleportation arrays anymore? Why did it feel so unreal? Everyone had left, but she was still standing there in a daze. Emosha sighed in his heart and reached out to tap her forehead, saying, "Let's go." Ah! Sima Yue reached out to cover the place where she was hit. Seeing the teasing look in his eyes, she thought of the few bowls of medicine he gave her and said, "Is it because of the thing you gave me?" So stupid. Emosha glanced at him, then turned and left. What an idiot, only realizing it now. He despised her inwardly. However, he couldn't help but smile when he saw the joy on her face because she didn't get sick. Sima Yue pursed her lips at his back, then followed him with large strides. It was great that he didn't feel dizzy using the teleportation array anymore. When she got back, she wanted to get that method and give it to Feng to use so that he wouldn't get dizzy in the teleportation array. The people of the Black Jade clan took them to the mountain range near Luxia City. From the mountain peaks here, they could see Luxia City. While Wuxia was discussing with Hua Jing and the others how to rescue those who had been captured, she stood at the side in a daze. She really couldn't understand what they were talking about in such a short time. Unlike Wuxia, who was able to analyze the current situation very well after listening to Hua Jing and the others. She looked up at the gray sky, as if there was no blue sky and white clouds here. She couldn't see the sun all day, and she didn't know how the green plants grew. She was bored out of her wits. Seeing that they were still in the middle of their discussion, and that a few more strangers had arrived, she quietly left the mountain. Wuxia sensed her departure and glanced in her direction before continuing his discussion with them. Unknowingly, she had left the mountain far behind. "Kacha!" A crisp voice rang out. She looked around, but didn't see anyone. "Kacha! Kacha!" A few sounds were heard, but there was no movement at all. She called Xiaoming out, and the two of them followed the direction of the voice. "Kacha!" As if sensing that someone was approaching, the voice disappeared. "That sound just now sounded like the sound of eating," Little Dream said. "I think so too, but there's no one here." They looked around but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Leaning against a huge flower, they sat down. This place is strangely quiet," Little Dream said. "It's as if there's no life nearby." "It is indeed a little strange." Sima closed her eyes and sensed her surroundings. She did not find anything out of the ordinary. There were only trees and flowers around her. Moreover, there were large patches of flowers. It seemed that there were no other plants around except for these flowers. Since they didn't find anything, the two of them chatted casually under the flowers. When they weren't paying attention, a flower bud slowly rose not far away and approached the two of them. When it got close to them, it suddenly bloomed, revealing rows of sharp teeth in the stamen. Then it fiercely pounced on the two of them, wanting to suck them into its mouth. Bang! Little Dream used her spiritual energy to open the flower. The two of them left the flower they were leaning against, and came to an open space, looking at the dancing flowers in the air. There must be a demon when things are out of the ordinary. This place is so quiet, there must be a demon. Sima sneered. "I didn't expect to meet a man-eating flower here." "You didn't fall for it at all. The flower didn't even have a mouth." They didn't know where the voice came from. Sima smiled. "You purposely made a sound to lure us here. Then, you wanted to eat us when we let our guard down. Unfortunately, it's too quiet here. There's no movement at all. How would we dare to let our guard down?" Even if you didn't fall for it, the result would still be the same. It's just that it's a little more troublesome for me." After the man-eating flower finished speaking, the surrounding flowers moved. The flower branches extended endlessly and attacked them. Little Dream took care of one flower with a punch. Every flower was shattered by her. A small man-eating flower dares to talk nonsense." Little Dream stopped in the air and sneered. Sima was not used to Little Dream's domineering words, especially when the flower was taller than her. She didn't seem to have any power at all. However, the man-eating flower understood how powerful she was. "I didn't expect there to be such a young demon king. If normal man-eating flowers are useless against you, it doesn't mean that I'm afraid of you," the man-eating flower said fearlessly. All the surrounding flowers moved. It just so happened that there was only one man-eating flower in the valley. It's actually the man-eating flower king. This time, even Little Dream's expression changed. The man-eating flower king and the man-eating flower seemed to have the same strength. However, the man-eating flower king had endless life. It could quickly grow branches and bloom new flowers. As long as its main parts and roots were not destroyed, it was equivalent to an immortal life form. Moreover, each of its flowers had strength. It wasn't like normal man-eating flowers. Only a few flowers had attack power. Although Little Dream was strong, she couldn't withstand the hundreds and thousands of flowers. Little Dream, come down. Sima Yue shouted when she saw the man-eating flower attacking Little Dream. Little Dream wanted to come down, but she was blocked by the man-eating flowers coming from all directions. She couldn't move at all. Ha ha ha, so what if you're the Demon King? You'll still be eaten by me. The man-eating flower king laughed and opened its mouth to swallow her. Poochie! A bunch of flames burned the flower that was holding Little Dream. Then, the flames followed the flower branches and burned the other flowers as well. Little Dream took the chance to fly to Sima Yue's side. Ah! Ah! The man-eating flower king's flower branches danced in the air after being ignited. It was close to the other flowers and ignited the others. Normal flames are useless against me. Ah! What kind of flame is this? The man-eating flower king screamed. Its voice was filled with deep fear. Naturally, it's a flame that can burn you to ashes. Sima Yue said. Hearing that it would be burned to ashes, the man-eating flower king was afraid. Because she knew that this flame could definitely do it. Ah, I was wrong. Please spare me. The man-eating flower king begged. Spare you? Didn't you say that you were going to eat us? I was wrong. It hurts. Please spare me. Spare you. Sima Yue smiled. I will only forgive my own people. As for my enemies, I will only eliminate them. Chapter 590. The man-eating flower king had lived for a long time, and naturally understood what Sima Yue meant. However, it was unwilling to do so. It's impossible for me to recognize you as my master. Sima Yue was not in a hurry. She controlled the flame to burn slowly and said, Freedom or life, which one is more important? Freedom or life, which was more important? The man-eating flower king was also asking itself if it could give up its freedom for life. No. I won't give up my freedom and faith to become someone else's contract beast. The man-eating flower king shouted loudly. It was unknown whether these words were meant for her or for herself. I believe that you are a very unyielding man-eating flower king. Sima Yue said, but it doesn't matter to me whether you're here or not, so I will respect your choice. After saying that, the flames sped up a little. Soon, half of the flowers on the hillside were burned away by her. You have so many beasts and Brother Qi Yan's powerful flames. This kind of man-eating flower is useless. You can go and burn its main root. Let's go back and eat. Little Dream said. Okay. Sima Yue patted Little Dream's head and replied. The man-eating flower king couldn't believe it. She had such a powerful flame, so how powerful was she? Maybe she really didn't care about it, and didn't care about its life. She even said that she was going home for dinner? What were they trying to do? I'll go find its main root. Little Dream said. Go. We've been out for so long, they must be worried about us. It's better to go back early. Yes. I'm going. As the two of them spoke, they did not put the man-eating flower king in their eyes at all. They did not notice that the man-eating flower king's body was trembling. Especially when it saw Xiaomeng walking towards its main root, it cried out in fear. No, I don't want my freedom anymore. I'm willing to recognize you as my master. Really? Xiaomeng stopped and asked doubtfully. Didn't you just say that you wouldn't give up your freedom for life? I changed my mind, okay? The man-eating flower king said awkwardly. Stop burning. Are you really willing to acknowledge me as your master? Sima Yue asked. Yes, I'm willing. Stop it, it hurts. The man-eating flower king cried out. Sima Yue snickered in her heart. With a wave of her hand, she kept the flames that covered the entire mountain. At this moment, the man-eating flower king only had a small portion of flowers left. How do we contract it? I don't know either. Sima Yue said. Why don't we go back and ask Mo Sha? He knows. Yue. Sima Yue waved at the man-eating flower king saying, Come back with me. The man-eating flower king hesitated for a moment. Seeing the flame still lingering on her hand, it obediently turned into a blood-red flower. Go. Yeyu. Seeing them leave safely, the two people in the air sighed in relief and went back. When Sima Yue went back, those people had already left. Only Emo Sha, the Huajing brothers and Ba Jiazi were left. Yue, where did you go? You didn't come back for so long. We were going to look for you. Ba Jiazi looked at the flower in Sima Yue's hand and said, "What a beautiful flower. I went to walk around nearby." Sima Yue saw that she was really worried about her and said apologetically, "It's good that you're okay." Ba Jiazi said, "We were just talking about looking for you. Your senior brother said you were fine. He knows you better." Sima Yue nodded at her and walked to Emo Sha's side. She handed the man-eating flower king to him and said, "I caught a naughty little flower. I want to contract it. How do I contract it?" Emo Sha looked at the flower in her hand and took it, saying, "It really is a little flower. However, it can grow into a man-eating flower king. It's quite rare. I'll tame it for you in a bit." "Okay." Sima Yue smiled and replied. If he said it was rare, then this man-eating flower king was indeed rare. Man-eating flower king? The man-eating flower king from the 2 valleys in front? Hua Xiu exclaimed. "That's right." Sima Yue said, "I just happened to meet it. It saw that I was pretty and said it wanted to follow me." The man-eating flower king in Emo Sha's hand trembled violently. It was screaming in its heart, "Shameless! Shameless! You're the one who threatened me." Emo Sha seemed to have heard its thoughts. He lowered his eyes and glanced at it, then elegantly ignored it. The Huajing brothers were speechless as the corners of her mouth twitched. That man-eating flower king had been there for a long time. They had never heard of it not eating anyone because of their good looks. Looking at the man-eating flower king's obedient appearance, it must have been taught a lesson by her. However, she was also very capable. Many people had designs on it, but if they didn't leave with heavy injuries, they were eaten by it. They didn't think that she would be able to tame it. "How's your discussion going?" Sima Yue finally turned around and asked them. "It's almost done. If we follow our plan, we'll definitely be able to save Clan Head and the others," Hua Jing said, looking at Emo Sha with admiration. When they were discussing the plan, he only listened to them talk about the situation and reacted quickly. His plan could be said to be perfect. It was much better than what they, who understood the situation here, could come up with. Sima Yue wasn't there at the time, so she didn't see how everyone was deeply impressed by him. "Then there's nothing for you to do? Then hurry up and tame the man-eating flower king for me." Sima Yue looked at Emo Sha eagerly. Although Emo Sha liked it when she acted spoiled with him in private, it was too embarrassing to do this in public. He closed his eyes and grabbed the man-eating flower king's roots. After a while, he opened his eyes and threw the flower to her. "It's done." Sima Yue caught the man-eating flower king. Looking at its blooming flower, she asked, "It's done? So fast?" Plant-type beasts have lower spiritual power, not to mention a flower king that just became a king, Emo Sha said casually. Sima Yue could tell that he didn't think much of the man-eating flower king. She also expressed her doubts about her taste. However, thinking about how high his standards were, she didn't want to lower herself to his level. Thus, she held the man-eating flower king and ran to the side to contract it. Because it was the man-eating flower king and Emo Sha used the imperial beast art to tame it, Sima Yue's dark spiritual power increased quite a bit when she contracted it. "Master." Because of the contract, the man-eating flower king's injuries had recovered. Knowing that she was actually from the human world, it was so angry that it wanted to vomit blood, but it didn't dare to do anything to her. "Since you like flowers so much, then you'll be called Hua Hua." Before Sima Yue could speak, Little Meng put her hands on her hips and decided on the name of the man-eating flower king. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.